Academy. God, it's like we're in London already. Goodness me. He's over on the northwest side there. That's over on the mountaintop on the northwest island. That scrap is continuing to fulminate into a full-fledged, all-out war over on that side.
One nade for Nomi. Hoping for a strong one. To be fair, Dimmy is in a very nadeable position, but they would have to peek the stairs to make it happen. And they are holding them fairly effectively. Right now, the Team Spirit pretty much have the pick of the litter in terms of loot. Like, no one can really see them on this top side, so they can get as much gear as they would like. Even potentially jump out the window, pick up the loot that's sat on top of the buildings. So Asia Mix is just looking to catch them off guard, but I like what Team Spirit did here, which is a case of we're just going to play passive at the start here, not play into that aggressive mentality that Asia Mix likes to show them.
It's like they do want to start to make a move now. They feel like they've got enough loot. Asia Mix not being as maneuvered around, but there's a first aid there, a UMP. This is a decent loadout for Lost. Ooh, he might just find an angle. Kitsune could spot a leg here as well, but he crosses. Lost doesn't pull the trigger. He's biding his time.
They're just spotting them out. I think for Team Spirit, they understand that they're the ones with the utility. They're the ones that can really instigate this engagement.
Not really finding too much. Asia Mix are being very, very quiet now, though. They are waiting. They're playing that snake game. Team Spirit, they're running around, they're shuffling, they're making those steps. As soon as one of these Asia Mix players makes a peep, you can bet that the rest of them are going to get descended on. He wants something. He wants the go sign. Looking pretty sleek in the catsuit.
Yeah. There's stuff happening around the map as well with Plutiam DX taking down strangers right now. Gyro's down, it's just Alicio up against Morris right now, and this 1v1 currently.
He hops out. This is broadside. Really opened himself up to a fight, but he has got backup coming through. No matter, because Alicio's already handled it. Now it's again in a 1 versus 1. They are giving him these 1 versus 1s with a DBS in close range. Alicio with a right-hand advantage, but takes a lot of damage through the window. Can't quite find the third. That could have been huge for Alicio, but Strangers lose 2. The backup wasn't there in time. They didn't have the vehicles. Can these reses happen, though? Because in comes Brett.
Yeah, it was real slow on the response there from Strangers. I don't think they had a vehicle, though, in which case Blue Team DX Rose get to the fight much earlier. Brett has an aid. Slightly late. And not on target either.
Check out the big boom on Brett. He lands the headshot through the door frame now. Gyro has 2 players to handle. Godse are really in the action, but there goes a beautiful shot to the guts. A second one to answer it, though, and it's up to Tree. Needs to try and keep his team alive here. But either way, any way you cut it, both of these teams having a pretty shocking time of it at the start of this match.
Yeah, it's been very slow from everyone here trying to get back into this fight, to try and get something done. So I think for Blue Team DX, weird engagement for Strangers as well. There we go.
Spotted one.
I mean, that's good. You've dislodged 1, so now you have a bit of space to work with.
They're all moving now. Positions given away. They can no longer bide their time. Team Spirit have had so much opportunity to roll around, gather up this loot. As Asia Mix were playing slow. Nobody here for third party. Nobody pushing up from Pioneer just yet. Could change, but for now, it is an isolated fight. Nomi, with that 1 nade in hand, he's really thinking hard about where he wants to put this one. Pops it through the door, doesn't get anything.
Yeah, that 1 nade was pretty essential to be worked with. Lost heads upstairs. In fact, they should hear the door opening. That's going to cause a little bit of panic on Team Spirit's side. Walk back down again.
Getting bold. He's pre-firing the door, though. He knew which door it was. He was ready.
It's such a weird engagement. And you can kind of understand why it's such a weird engagement as well, because I think Team Spirit understands that this is one of their strongest maps. They don't want to lose out on the points that could be given to them, especially with them being quite central in the circle, off the back of a team just forcing this fight at the beginning every time.
I'm just waiting for Kanina Power to come up and finish this fight, take both of these teams down, but it's not happening. Not just yet. The Stim slowly ticking, lost his health bar back up. Another nade for Kitsune. Threads the needle. There it is. There's the knock. There's the opener. Potential now for Team Spirit to keep this momentum going. They can isolate Lost. They know he's in this outhouse shack. Retro trying to hold down this door frame, and Nomi wants to peek it. Immediately, Kitsune able to do the work. Pre-firing the door frame, Nomi knows what's up with the cross.
Yeah, just slowly picking them apart here. And I think Asia Mix really likes to play into just very chaotic engagements, which is realistically what you don't want as a team. You don't want to be taking a fight where you are sacrificing players for the win, because at the start of the game here, you are just having a case of, right, we got 2 eliminations, 4 eliminations, but now we've lost the match.
Another Kitsune nade, and there's Shockwave. Now potentially they just rolled into the south side of this engagement. Could third party might put pressure onto Team Spirit to get this done. As Nomi finds another knock, Keme now towards the backlines. That crossfire means that they can move into these buildings. Shockwave still not established on that south hill, means that Team Spirit just got to roll forward. This is dangerous. This is where it could all come crumbling down. 2 players to line up for Asia Mix. A little bit of flak already caught. You can see there's a crossfire. They want to establish. They want to find these picks early. But they haven't found anything just yet. Team Spirit, they felt like they were gearing up, but they're not going in just yet. This one room is all it's going to take. But Asia Mix holding it down like nothing else. A cross jump. Nothing more.
I think they know exactly what's going on here. I mean, that was a very well taken fight, and they're very happy with themselves as well as Team Spirit, and rightly so, because again, Asia Mix does feel like a team that just wants to fight head on in more of a brawly matchup, in which case Team Spirit shows them a slow game, and that is the smart thing to do. Kanina Power now coming in from that eastern side, but the fight is concluded, so they don't hear any shots and they don't go for a third party, and Team Spirit can now comfortably loot up in boot camp, which is luckily still in the circle for them.
I'm still surprised that nobody third-partied that, right? There are a lot of teams moving around. Shockwave in particular. Kanina Power had a lot of opportunity to leave Hainan for quite a while to come and third-party that. So if you're one of those teams and you're watching this back, then maybe 8 points for free in boot camp. Who knows? If Team Spirit are going to continue to try and keep that fight really, really slow, you know you've got a lot of time to try and circle that.
Yeah, I mean, for teams like Kanina Power, getting ahead is probably the better option, though, right? And it's not confirmed you're going to get 8 elimination points. You might just take, like, a couple of elims yourself. And this is why the fight is so weird for me, is because typically a boot camp hot drop only happens once or twice. And then one team will give it. It really can only contain one team, and a lot of time hot dropping in boot camp is just the end of the game for both teams, unless you are very skilled and you're able to do what Team Spirit was able to do there, which is a slow fight and then maintain 4 players. A lot of times boot camp hot drops result in one team winning, but did they really win because they lost 1 or 2 members, which really hamstrings the rest of their match.
They will parade on proudly, though, from boot camp on the south side. The circle went northwest and then went back to the mainland a little bit, but it's not confirmed just yet. A lot of ground that it could shift out to the west on for the time being, but a lot of teams committing to that mainland east island. Over in one of the strongest compounds in this circle right now, getting scrapped over by Dagestan and Strangers, who sit atop the hill. Strangers only on 2, Dagestan on 4 players, so should be fairly easy to take that one from them. Meanwhile, over on Northwest Island, Far Voice Gaming, who were able to take 4 eliminations earlier on, now locking horns with Star Esports again.
Yeah, Far Voices has a bit of a weird game, honestly. Really kind of shifted in terms of their power, their potential in these matches. Again, the blue. It's a bit odd. They can still move out, but this is not the fight you'd really want to be taking at this point in the game. So much space available on the western side of the map, though. All those compounds around Hattin on that south side available to be played. There is a crossing that could be made. Potentially the call here for the guys in Team Spirit to go for, because so much is already taken care of here. Likely they're going to have to go for that. If they want to go for this wide wrap on the eastern side, could it be slightly difficult? They can wrap around Paris Resort, which is going to limit a lot of those sight lines available from teams currently in the circle. Yeah, a tough one. Same goes for Shockwave and Kanina Power. Although in the circle, they need to go further.
Team Spirit, remember, they've been locked in a fight for a long, long time, and whilst they did have a little bit more leeway to go and get loot, they're not going to have as much as they would like at this stage, right? They are going to have to spend a little bit of time there before they get on the bike and figure out where they want to go. Far Voice, they take a knock, but it's zone 3 for a little bit longer, which means they can get that res, get a bandage off, and then a first aid, as long as those meds are available. Brothers in Arms taking shots, but that res can come through. Big Baby out on the east side. Dagestan in now full control of what I think is the strongest compound in this circle. Very, very central. A lot of oversight over the surrounding area. The difficulty, of course, is when you have to leave it, as it is with all sorts of stronghold positions in PUBG Mobile.
Yeah, again, it's a hard spot to play because you can get pushed upon quite easily a lot of times. So I think for Dagestan, they'll have to hold on this spot a little bit longer, but they are safe. And I think that's the big caveat here, is that being safe compared to a lot of teams who are playing on the crossroads, that is a difficult spot to be in. You see S-Eagles right now alongside with Brothers in Arms and Strangers with Big Baby in that location as well. Fights are going to be happening constantly. Pressure is going to be applied to you a lot of the time. So I'd much rather be in Dagestan's situation where they don't have to worry about that for quite some time.
It's just Black remaining for one for all, down in the bush. So the Eagles don't spot him. 17-15 close by, but maybe completely unawares of his location, of his presence there on the north. Don't think he's quite in the next zone, so we'll have to crawl further forwards just a little bit through the lumberyard.
Yeah, Far Voice get a little bit trigger happy, I'd say, on the western side of the map. Lose the play to the play zone. A bit awkward. And Stars able to make their way through. 17-15. Gentle, running out in the open. Sort of to be expected that you get taken down there. I mean, you are running, and likely a lot of teams are playing that crossroaded area, so you've got to be very aware of those angles. They have to make a bit more of a tight wrap on the north side of the map to make something like that happen.
Brothers in Arms 2-2 north and south of the road. They're building a stronghold for now. That curved hillside on the north edge of this circle could be pretty powerful for 17-15 as Black does go down. Potential foothold on the cross for Star Esports as well from the west, and it centers up towards the Eagles. I mean, sure, let's go for it. Let's go for another back to back.
Yeah, well, I mean, for Team Spirit, this is pretty fortunate, honestly. That compound they're just coming up on now, I think they're trying to scout it, but the one on the western side, which ekes a little bit into the circle, is in, and there's no one playing in there, so they could move onto it quite easily. Again, gives a bit more time in the game. Dagestan currently taking shots over towards Star on the western side. Big Baby, look over towards Ghetto, all grouped up. One nade could spell the doom for them.
Nade in. If it lands through the window, needs to find a little bit more than that. Doesn't quite connect. Big Baby playing as 3, but with the zone under control, the run out for Getso needs to come through. Team Spirit waiting in the wings to try and curtail that too. Looks like not glad, very wary of this position, and rightly so.
Yeah, Seagulls just have a very strong spot. They're holding both sides of the compound at the moment. Not always easy to do that. Likely late game, they're going to have to give up at least one side of these shacks to be able to get in. Far Voice have given up somewhat on the western side. I think their crossing is going to be very difficult, so they send into the water in the vehicle, and Shum just misses it. That pillar being the big problem in his midst. Nice nade towards Jakey, but does see nades perks? Huh?
Interesting technique. It's all part of their master plan, surely. Kanina Power and Shockwave on the south side are looking for inside track to run up the coastline and have a chance at a potential central position here, but nades being traded right now. Shockwave getting the res onto Jakey. Should be fine. Kanina Power disengage at the price of 1.
I mean, which they took. Well, at least Shockwave doesn't get the point, but still.
That's the big strap.
So interesting one, but I see very unhappy with his teammate. Far Voice being taken down now by Star, who did make that crossing.
Ragnar might have a challenge. I would love it to shift down towards Ragnar on that little island. Wouldn't that just be great? Oh, I'd love to see it.
I've seen it end there before, actually. Madball's winning a game from that very, very far up from the circle, just made the mad dash and won it off that one. But yeah, circle heads back over towards S Eagles. It's not fully planted on those two compounds. Still pretty hard to aggress onto, but Team Spirit, what a good comeback on this game for them. Difficult rotate to make, difficult decision to go for, and I think they played this one out fairly well. And that compound I was talking about earlier, they finally took control of it. That should have had some loot in it as well. I don't think anyone picked up the loot inside there yet, so their bags won't be full, but they'll at least be a little bit heavier than they were before.
Made up high towards Limbo Boom, but he's already repositioned away from it. Doesn't take the damage. Shockwave and Kanina Power continue to go at it on the south side as Jakey finds Zero. I think that's a flush as well coming on through. Tries to get up on the coastline. Did Ragnar go down there too? I think he might have done.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who was able to pick him up, but yeah, 8 Academy now out. Kitsune finding Kanina Power as they try and make the dash up towards the compound. They will clean them out entirely. That's 6 eliminations. Shockwave should have heard that though.
Might try and roll around, or potentially just try and beat them to the punch, get closer to the center of this circle, because right now the east side is Team Spirit's playground. If they can push up, get a little bit more control towards Getso and Brothers in Arms and Big Baby as well, they might have a good game on their hands, a big game, and that's what I said I wanted to see from them.
He's just pouring over the top. This is an opportunity right now for Team Spirit. I'm imagining that Matic is providing a lot of this information back across to the team, that they have no clue where Team Spirit is playing at the moment. Obito over the top, but Brothers in Arms gets wiped clean there. And Brothers in Arms will leave the game in arms.
Down and out, Getso now with a challenge of Big Baby, but it's going well for them. Just one player now remains. Getso have all 4 in action. Araba, I think he's been spotted. He's taking shots from the grass, from down in the dirt. And actually, this ridgeline is kind of suppressed from across the way. I think that might be Shockwave taking shots up towards the north side, but it's only going to last so long. And now it's just Getso with 4.
Yeah, fight's concluding very quickly, and I think Not Glad spots out some of the players there from Team Spirit as Nomi starts to take shots, so they're fully aware of Team Spirit's position. They're slightly pincered now, but that 2-2 could be taken apart. It's just the uphill battle for Team Spirit that they have to make, which is going to be difficult for them. This is very reminiscent of the Miramar they played yesterday, where they played a 2-2 and just kind of held 2 teams at bay until they were forced off, because the circle's going to push Shockwave in.
Dagestan as well on the west side, down to just Limbo Boom. They've been flagging on their descent from the compound that kept them safe for so long. Getso with prime real estate at this stage. This is really where Team Spirit want to end up. If you can take down a couple of the players from Getso, find an opening, then force the Eagles to push out of their compound and have a better time of it. And I think they've just realized that, or, well, not realized, but they're finally enacting that, getting closer into the fiery maw that is Getso's approach.
I think for Team Spirit, again, like I said, the bags are not full right now, so ammo is a real problem. Nice shot onto Ked, though, from Matic. He's been very much watching these players for a long, long time on this eastern side. Gets 1 pick, and the rest of Team Spirit can start to make that approach to the hill. Not Glad going down. This is huge for them.
Massive openers towards the north side, and they are not going to waste the time, but there's a nade being cooked. They need to be very careful here. 3 of them are rolled up right together. An airburst might take down more than they bargained for, but it doesn't connect. Doesn't do the damage it was looking for. Spray down, coming on through. Shockwave being handled by the Eagles in the meantime, and the rock is cleared. Team Spirit now, from the high ground, have a chance to get Getso out of the way, out of the running. 2 players at the back line is what they have to deal with, because the res comes through. Shift on the circle, goes down southwest and keeps the compound in.
That could be a good nade, a little bit too far. Yeah, keeping the compound in is so difficult. Next circle should shift them out, though, which is good. So 2 players now left to deal with for Getso, and this is a very important fight for the boys on Team Spirit, because they need this loot.
Big flash onto Obito, but he launches another nade right on top of the knock, and that is going to be huge. Doesn't quite get a second, though. Obito is low. Ked crawling with the blue zone, pushing him in. Effect is down, but he's trying to get away with it. Ked has to get up on the feet, jump across to the tree. Obito as well. The blue zone playing hurry up on this fight. And out comes the flex. The Eagles are in for a fight.
Yeah, Eagles coming from behind here is devastating for Getso. They just send 2 players as well, which is interesting to say the least. You'd have thought they'd send more for a situation like this where you've got OMG and Devil still holding back. Great shot from Islam onto Nomi as he makes the cross.
2 players now for Team Spirit with their trapped right into the blue zone. This flex out is just secured Eagles the game, all but Kitsune and Matic. Brothers of old, can they hold it together? Can they find an opening? The nades continue to burst the eardrums of the Team Spirit backline, and maybe their backbone too.
Yeah, looking to clear out 1-2 here because they want the second place, but another great nade from Islam directly on target. We'll take down both of them. 9 elims though, second place, not terrible, and looks like the back-to-back is here for S-Eagles.
They are just going to deal with 1 player remaining, and 1 dude goes down. S-Eagles squad are absolutely tearing this lobby apart right now. Team Spirit, it felt like maybe they had a chance, but that 2-2 flex out, it just worked so well for the Eagles in that specific scenario.
Yeah, it really did, and they left 2 behind as well there for Shockwave, so a very aggressive play from Eagles just to send the 2 players over towards that north side to remove everyone from Team Spirit. I think it all sort of went wrong as soon as Obito hit that very lovely nade onto Team Spirit. Again, that little lip is so difficult to play with, and there's a lot of hard cover there for Getsu to play around. But again, that game could have gone much, much worse there for Team Spirit, and I think a 14-point game, very good.
Absolutely, definitely a great result. Eagles will break the 100-point barrier with that as well on the 10th match played. I think that was the 10th match. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. I'll just double check. Might be in the 9th. But yeah, absolutely great news for them. Down towards the bottom, Asia Mix, they went out early. That was the victim, of course, that hot drop in the boot camp that started it all for Team Spirit.
Yeah, and again, much, much better how they actually dealt with boot camp there. They took a little bit of a break at the start of it, as we're going to do too right now.
look at that. It's a back-to-back for the Eagles. Let's see if they can do it again, because we've got another match up. And it's going to be back to normalcy, I'm sure, as over on Erringle we will find ourselves playing. Let's get it adjusted for this last game. Not last game, what am I talking about? For this next game, as we are going to be heading back over to the grassy pastures.
Yeah, no, I've got to sort out a posture, that's all. So, you know, it's got to be done. But then I realised I was too tall for the camera, so I had to readjust again. You can follow us over our socials. You can find them down below there. Join the conversation. Let us know what you think about all the games that are occurring today. We're heading into our fourth match here. Before we close out the show of our last two, let's take a look at the overall, because things are getting pretty strong for Eagles at the top here with 111 points over 9 games. Kind of crazy stuff.
That's real big. That's real big numbers, Blank. I don't know if you've realised, but I'm sure you have. 4 chicken dinners, 111 points, out of nowhere, seemingly. So, it's a battle for second place. Team Spirit right now, just eking that out, 89 to 88. And there's a big drop-off from third down to fourth. So Dagestan and Team Spirit really going to be trading blows on this one. Strangers, actually. I don't think I would have expected Strangers to be up in fourth place and that sort of next team waiting in the wings to maybe leapfrog a bit. But there they are. Asia Mix even further down, 10 points behind that.
Yeah, it's very much becoming a bit of a battle. And we talked about this last game in the case of you sort of have those three teams that are very good at the top with Eagles, Dagestan and Team Spirit. And the rest of the teams are all just clamoring for any points that they can get. They're not having consistent games like these guys are currently. But again, I am willing to be proven wrong. We do still have, I think it's quite a few games still left to play right now. We have 15 total, I believe. I'm not silly. I think I am correct. But yeah, so there's a lot of matches still left to play. We're only just hitting that halfway point now.
I think it's 30. No, we got more than that. No, you're right. We got 12 at least in 2 days, and then the extras from today, right? Yeah,
3. Yeah,
no,
so
you
50.
are right. I'm silly. I am the one who was silly, in fact.
Yeah,
but yeah, so we still got
count apparently.
a lot. I know. Look, counting is difficult at the best of times, but here we are in a qualification spot. Only 2 teams making it through as well. I feel like for a lot of teams that kind of changes how you play somewhat. I don't know if we've really discussed this too much, right? But the only goal for this tournament is place top 2, or well. To be fair, you're also looking to sort of develop as a player, get that experience against some global level teams, which you kind of are doing here. But really, you're chasing that top 2 spot. And sometimes you'll see, especially in like finals, it's like, oh, it's a top 8. Like we'll play a little bit more conservative. We'll play a little bit more lackadaisical. But this time around, no, you just need to be one of the 2 best teams in the lobby in order to get anything out of this tournament.
Yeah, so you need to get those numbers on board. And I think that, yeah, some players are here looking to develop their skills, but I think the main goal for most players here and teams is just that top 2. So really it is all about trying to get as many points out as possible every single game. That's obviously made difficult for some teams who are encountering a lot of hot drops right now because it's just not advisable, right? I think that especially... Look, I don't want to keep harping on about Team Spirit, but
some teams could be any teams, but it's Team Spirit.
Especially with Team Spirit, who have dropped in bootcamp for the longest time, even way back when for Effect and Nomi on Major Pride, bootcamp was their drop spot. Just feels slightly odd to me that teams would challenge them there. Go somewhere else, play somewhere else. It's probably going to pan out better for you. Yeah, it's an unfortunate scenario.
You don't like it. You don't like it one bit. You feel
I don't. I don't know. Again, the goal is to get top 2. So why hamper yourself in a 4-day format, which is basically a sprint with hot drops? That's something that you can maybe challenge for a finals in the group stage. But right now, it's not the time to be challenging for a drop spot. Like, we're not playing PMSL EMEA, guys.
I mean, you could say the same about Asia Mix, but it's much less sort of expected that Asia Mix do incredibly well, right? So Asia Mix, they're getting hot drop experience against what should be the best team in the lobby, right? So that's great for Asia Mix. They're happy to keep this one going. Maybe not too long, right? We might see if we've only. I think we've actually only got. I'm pretty sure it'll
happen every day.
We've only got 4 Sandhawks, right? We've only got 4 Sandhawks in this tournament because we've got 4 days to play, 1 Sandhawk per day. So could be. That it's just a little bit of a throwaway. That Asia Mix are willing to be like, you know what? Let's just get this training in. Let's literally go to a boot camp.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen every single day now. I don't really expect them to change off the drop spot. I think they're fully committed at this point. If you're wondering why we're not in game yet, it's because we had a little rehost. We had to rejig the lobby, make sure it was all perfect for you guys at home when you're watching. I am pressing the start game button. Don't worry, I'm doing it as many times as I can. It's not working.
It's like
the red button on my desk is broken.
It's like those experiments where they have like a little button for the animal to press, like to get a little pellet of feed. It's just not shooting out the pellet yet. We're both just slamming it like manically. But
yeah, I'm not coming back for that pellet anymore.
Yeah, we're very stressed. We're not completing that maze. No more. We're done. We're done. We're not playing your tricks, Pubg Mobile.
Again, I think that S Eagles is playing. I don't know how to describe it. It feels like a team shouldn't really be here in the qualifier, because Team Spirit is also a team that really should be in the qualifier. It's quite unfair, actually, in my opinion, because they are so good. You're pitting them against teams that are struggling. So them getting this spot in the qualifier to re-qualify, it's amusing to me. It is amusing, just in terms of like they will outclass so much of the competition. I think Dagestan's really the only other team that's giving them a run for the money. But again, for S Eagles, they feel like a team that should be in PMSL, EMEA, and if they continue like this, they will be. But some of the plays they're making just feel top level.
Yeah, it is impeccable. Really, it's I guess for Eagles, it's impeccable. Yeah, how are we feeling about that? That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think they peck very much though. Like just swallow.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I feel like they go in for like the carcass and they like tear chunks out of.
That's a vulture.
No, Eagles do that too. They must do. Eagles go for like rabbits and stuff. They don't swallow a rabbit whole, do they?
They swallow them whole.
They just swallow a whole rabbit.
Yeah.
All right, you first.
Yeah, they just. Yeah. They got the mega stomach.
The mega stomach.
Yeah.
17 chambers in there.
If you see a really fat eagle, it's had a rabbit for breakfast.
Oh yeah, must be ready to regurgitate for the kids.
It's like waddling around.
I shouldn't have had all that rabbit.
I should have had all that rabbit.
And a whole rabbit warm, and it's so warm today. I'm having a terrible time.
Which is probably why you've not seen many fat eagles around.
Yeah, they can't fly.
Because they don't do that.
Yeah. No, that's actually canonical now.
Anyway, this has been a weird derailing of Eagle talk. Not actually about the Eagles at all. But yeah, again, they are a ridiculously strong team that looks like they don't belong in a qualifier. Looks like they should have already qualified. And again, there's just some plays that feel, I don't know, crazy. Really, really crazy.
Do you feel like they're looking more like a white-tailed eagle or an Eastern Imperial eagle?
Oh, I don't know. I'll say white-tailed eagle. What does that look like? Has it got a white tail?
It's a brown bird, yellow beak, white tail. Pretty banging bird.
That's an American eagle. We already had this discussion. That's not a white. That's just an American eagle.
Sometimes known as the sea eagle. Unfortunately, the bald eagle is like the American eagle. That's the one with the white head.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Definitely.
It's yellow beak, brown fur, white tail, American.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bald eagle is like the white-tailed eagle, but with a white head also, and that's like the really American one. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I've got the Wikipedia page up. The bald eagle. That's the one.
I don't know. I think you're talking nonsense. I think you've been editing the Wikipedia.
Okay, I've been Wikipedia.
I've seen an American eagle. It has like some stars on it.
Oh yeah,
and then, like some stripes, and it's got like brown fur, red and blue eyes, and then white tail, yellow beak. I mean, a good team that did that in the past was Stalwart, maybe 2 years ago when they played Nova Upnoya a lot. But yeah, they played Edge all the time. They're very successful from it, but they always waited a long, long time. You cannot be playing Sosnovka and also be in the middle of the circle. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't indeed. 17-15. They've got a little fight on their hands, and they will be duking it out across the way with one for all. North and south, a little bit split on Pachinki. So they're not like super involved with one another. Hang on a minute, take that back. Look at the high ground. Looks like Banner's just got into a top position up on the church. That's going to mean that one for all can't really leave this fight of their own volition without potentially taking casualties. What I would do if they've heard that run up, if you're playing on one for all, you just swarm that church, right? You know there's a single player there. You saw those shoots further down to your south. Potential to just really ruin the day of 17-15.
Yeah, I mean, I think for 17-15 they are playing a dangerous game by having Banner up in the church there. Again, difficult for them to make the crossing over towards it. It is in view. You have to run up the hillside, so if 17-15 are being a bit wary about it, they could take the shots. You can see right there, the cross angle is good. Blue team, DX taking shots over towards Getzo, I believe that is. That's around Gatka. As we get our circle, just drop over towards that northwest side.
Oh dear. Getzo gets rolled for one, and it's second as well. Lutian certainly controlling this Gatka position. Interestingly enough, Far Voice Gaming did break all the way to Novo on their rotation. They're currently just about to land in. Getso wanted to hold out with three. The roll-up for Blue Tiam goes one for one on the trade through the window, find a second on the hold. Obito through the door frame, can't quite hold it down. And now with two players alive and kicking for Blue Tiam. They want to keep go way up, but no gyro has no chance as Duchu swings out wide. Ferrari peek around the edge.
My God. He's putting the fear of God back into him. Godzilla looking to take out Obito. Let's fall. Duchu. I think he has the first aid kit here. And Godzilla just finds one of his own, so we're back into pretty evenly matched scenario. They do have the spotter. They can go away. Duchu's going to drop a painkiller, which might be useful just in terms of movement. Very minor improvement to the ability in the fight. Nade is going to be the big one.
He's pulling the pin.
Two of them. Damn.
That's pretty huge.
Okay.
He's got one of them. That's just okay. So I mean, they get the res. He's using that nade as a stopgap, right? That stops him from pushing down the hall. You don't quite know how long's on the cook there for Duchu. I mean, you might, if you're timing it on the pin, you should know, but always a little bit of a worry. And that allows you to get that res with a little bit of timing. Hang on a minute, Go Away's got a nade of his own. Is this going to do a thing?
There's a lot of damage to him. He only has bandies left as well. I don't know, I feel like if you send the nade into the building, you just play on the outside, right? And you rush both of them. I think Duchu gave them so much time to get that res off. Just sort of unnecessary. Now he's in a really horrid scenario. And just go down. And Blue Team DX get away with 4 elims and 2 players still alive. Yeah, odd play from Duchu. Those nades felt very lackluster. I think as soon as the second one comes out and it's inside the building, you're like, there's no way they have any more nades. We've literally been looting for about 30 seconds. At the most, he has 2.
And then about 17 come their way. I mean, you know, it's what it is. Far Voice Gaming, they lost a player. I didn't quite track who got that. It looks like Team Spirit. Yeah, Team Spirit. They must have got that early, right? Might have been on the top.
Nomi found them as they were dropping around about on the farm side. Was it east? It was a good pick. Very early. I think they've done that before, though. They actually did it in the very first game of the tournament on our angle. So, again, awkward playing path leads to Far Voice trying to pick up vehicles away from where Team Spirit like to grab their own. And Far Voice don't drop on any loot. So for Team Spirit, it's quite an easy pickup for them. They head towards Nova Upnoya, and they're going to be looting in the blue for quite a while here. So Far Voice, odd decision on the drop location, though. I feel like Yaz is completely open, as is Mansion. Milton would have been an option as well. That is just homework not being done, John.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should be aware of all of these drop spots. I mean, it's a little bit more difficult because some of the teams will be less storied, less played as well. So getting that homework done, you can only really get that from scrims. So you can't.
And yesterday.
Yeah, true, actually, and yesterday. But the backup drops maybe not forced on this scenario. The plane path, I think, where was it? It was from like Kameshki over to South George, so it was quite really heavily northern focused. So this is sort of a unique situation that we haven't really had before, and then a northern circle. So we'll have to wait and see if that homework does come through if this happens again.
Yeah, it's just plenty of time to see the shoots on the parachutes, right? So I think it's a case of you could probably make a good estimation that there's no one going to be in Milter, and there are vehicles in Milter, so they wouldn't have to go for the same vehicle spawns as Team Spirit. Just a tip, just a little cheeky tip there for Farvoice if they ever do watch the broadcast back, but there you go.
In English as well.
Though. I do think that it's a case of, you know, you don't have a huge amount of information on the backup drops, but you should be making some estimations whilst in the air of where people are dropping. And because it was such a straight plane path, you could relatively easily see where people were dropping out. Anyway, next circle, stage 2, on our screens very soon, as we have moved up towards that northwest side of the map. 17-15 still making their way on up there, past One for All. And a lot of teams all caught up in the action over on that western side. And we drop back down towards the south on Everest. So an interesting finish, which opens the gates once again for Eagles.
Yeah, really interesting shift. And that puts Ruins right in the middle of it, right? That is going to be potential for Dagestan to take control of that. That Ruins high ground, that split on the east side of this, that Everest position, a lot of that compound play can come on through. Team Spirit are going to try and push in from the southeast side. A lot of open ground for them to cover, but these river crossings are about to get murderous.
Yeah, so many teams want the very few compounds that are sat around Everest because there's very few, and a lot of the other space is pretty open and treacherous to play. And you can see here S Eagles had one of the quickest rotates into the circle from their position in Primorsk, and even they have taken a fairly shoddy compound, to say the least, but it is a position to play on that southwest side, and that's the most important part for them because a lot of other teams will just not have anywhere to work with. Team Spirit in the midst of it alongside with 17-15, One for All are backing them up from the south side, and Dagestan move over towards Ruins and take up Castle. I don't mind this split from Dagestan. It is going to get a bit hectic though because most teams already made their way into the circle from that north side, so there's going to be a lot of angles to have to deal with.
Blue TM with 2. Be surprised that they can hold this for much longer. The potential with a backup from Star Esports on the west. This bridge can be a bit of safety for them. Shockwaver across, and will find residency to the east side of this. No one up on the top of Everest completely just yet. Star Esports are looking to transition there though.
Yeah, Star Esports just sending their way up Mount Everest itself towards that backside. Reasonable spot to play actually for Star, and I like the fact that they're not forcing themselves too far over towards the east. They knew there was a lot of teams playing on the north side of this circle, so back down, try and hold out teams that are attempting to come in from that southwest side. That includes both Eagles and Brothers in Arms, who are now making their rotate on that western side. So yeah, for Star, they just need to be a little bit careful because it's very easy to rock up behind you on Everest a lot of times. Eagles move forward. I'm surprised this compound didn't get taken. They have given a lot of time to just pick this one up for themselves.
Yeah, they've got a lot of power now on this 2 up, 2 down situation. It's a little bit far to the south. I mean, it's not fully guaranteed to commit all the way to the south on this circle, as much as it is very likely now. I think we've got, what is that, like 20%, 25% maybe of the circle on the north side of that river, a lot more on the south side. So it could potentially be a little tricksy and sling all the way back up north, and there you go. And now it's an even split, really. That central island kind of cuts things out, and the north is now even more likely, I would say, than the south side. So things can go topsy-turvy. It's just what happens here.
Yeah, this is a south-north slingshot, and I think that this is going to cause so many problems for teams on the south side of the map. For Dagestan, they're in a really good spot. They've got so much control over ruins, and they should just exert control over there. This is not particularly a location they might win from, but it's a position where they can pick up a huge amount of eliminations and make the game worth it just off the back of that.
Star Esports trying to create a wall of lead for Brothers in Arms to run into, but not quite connecting just yet. Seemed completely unperturbed. Hang on a minute. No, Default did get a knock there. A nice little spray at range. Potential to just get that res straight back up, though, for Brothers in Arms, depending on how out in the open it was. Dagestan, they're going to have to hold off against 17-15, who are on 3 players, remember? And they will be pushing in from this western side.
Yeah, Magnum already picked up a player from 17-15, so they knew roughly where they were. And now 17-15 is pretty much just on bellies crawling around this ridge side. It's going to get dangerous, though, because more and more teams are going to start to push behind them. Team Spirit likely going to take a fight here, one for all. But Kanina Power, just one player remaining in Badussi. This Asian Mix just rolls over him.
I mean, that's just how it goes for Asia Mix. They are back at it again when they're not dead in the first few. It seems like this team does have some real legs to get it going. I mean, Keme really is the star name on that roster, right? And he was really, really forceful back in the day and with his addition to the major leagues. But now playing on this roster seems to have found another decent home for himself.
Yeah, he was kind of the weak link on Eastern Stars, right? And I think that clearly showed for a long, long time. But he still plays alongside with a lot of really difficult and strong teams to work against. And he didn't play terribly. He just was the clear weak link on that squad. So I think for Keme playing on Asia Mix, he's found a good place to develop and grow on a team. And he's been looking fairly good because of it. So I don't particularly mind where Keme's currently playing. Those points were wrong on the top side of the screen.
Ooh. They may be. I think, yeah, it looks like it's from the previous match, right? It looks like they just haven't updated because Eagles are on 111 at the start of this game.
Yeah, we'll get that updated for you. Don't worry. We'll alert people to that. It's been taken away for good reason. Next circle, shifting. Shockwave. We're in a pretty tough spot towards the beginning of this game, but then the circle was like, nah, you're winning it. Oh, okay.
And there it goes again.
How do you feel about that one?
Let's do a post-match interview with them already. So, Wagner Zada, where does the name come from?
Who knows? Got GG Zada on the team now as well.
True.
He's just got himself an elimination over towards Blue Team DX.
This is Shockwave's time to control this bridge, right? Star Esports, if they can get a solid position under the bridge once teams around them are starting to thin out, it's going to be huge, but it's so difficult to get there unperturbed at this stage because so many teams are going to be looking to push in beyond all those off angles that you need to worry about and really push you into a hard situation. But they've got this tower. They don't need to leave this wizard tower just yet. You can see they're just trying to control all of the South Shore.
I mean, that is smart. Again, there's that small bit of space to play on that South Bridge crossing. AA Academy, again, passive play style. They're going to head towards that eastern side. Stars doing their best to hold out teams. It's just one player from Blue Team TX at the moment. One for all finding Big Baby. They took a knock from Eagles earlier. And then they went for a pretty insane approach towards the circle, just flew towards the center crossing. I think they got one player in. That's over, lad. Lawrence is observing the other players from inside the car.
Oh, you guys must be having a real rough time of it. That's rubbish. I'm here too. And he finds it. What? Lawrence?
You can shoot outside the vehicle. He's absolutely owned them.
Yeah, he's absolutely destroyed them and their souls. It's about time. Blue Team finally go down fully. They were on 2 players for a while there. As Default trying to get that first aid before he crosses. Teammate. I mean, that door's gonna go. Gotta be careful. Eagles into a fight with 17-15. Are able to do it. Devil comes through. Manages to strike up a deal with them. And takes down 17-15. But he's the last player to stand. And there are so many players in the wings now. You've got I think Team Spirit, most notably, the swing around for Dagestan, potential to change things up here.
Yeah, Dagestan have eyes on towards that position. Team Spirit has been playing very slow on the outside. They do find one that's effect, and that nade should spell defeat for them. Devil lives for a little bit longer, but Shifu's got the angle. Should be game over.
Nice. Perfect nade. Well, not perfect, but that's the job. Team Spirit, they're striking up the road, though. They are taking their time. Instead of third-partying this engagement, they just kept it at bay, and now they can move up the roadside towards the river, which is going to be so important.
Hello?
One for all, up towards Flay, who gets the slow roll up there, and Nomi just eats dirt.
I mean, fair enough. I wouldn't expect this guy to just be sat on the ground, just running around aimlessly. But he gets the backstab. Fair play. And Nomi will fall because of it. Another move on the circle coming up. Very difficult to determine who's going to win this game.
Looks like they were flexing out to try and backfill Team Spirit. They've been pretty fastidious on holding their backlines, but Dagestan also going to have to rotate around. Next circle, just about to pop. It's more south.
Yes, so now this gives a big opportunity for the guys on Team Spirit. And against Zadira, gets a nice shot over towards effect there. Kitsune, Matic, bloody hell. Rain's gone. It's too warm. It's too hot.
It's too warm. It's too warm.
It's meant to be the UK. It's meant to be rainy and horrible.
I like it warm, but I don't like it this warm. You know. It's too.
Team Spirit down to just 2. And Fabius kind of has been the big problem maker for him here. I think if he didn't go down, this would have been a very different story. Kitsune getting knocked on the backside. Dear me.
Oh dear. The hardest swing on the wheel there. But Dagestan do finally take the thorn out of the side of Team Spirit. Are they looking for the res? No. They have effect way far forwards on this one. Team Spirit just losing thunder almost instantly. Dagestan with a chance to jump up over towards that first place. Rules on the right hand side are, I believe, 1 game behind right now, so they're not fully up to date. We'll have to make sure that those are correct for our post-match. Let's see what they've got going. Effect now under pressure from the south side. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Team Spirit going down fully, but Effect's in the river now.
Yeah, it's a good play, good move out. He knows that from this south side of the map, so many teams are going to die on the northern edge that he could at least get, like, try to pick up top 5 and salvage some of the points here. See, they are quite close to the top, and they're directly fighting with Dagestan. Magnum does get knocked, though.
Tokyo pull down the vehicle. A little bit prematurely for his liking. Response from Peachy, who can move in, potentially look for this res. Needs to smoke it up a little bit. Team Spirit will be down for our secondary goal of the day. They will be out of it. Strangers moving over the North Hill sides now. They've got high ground, but they do not have a circle position. They want to enact vengeance on the teams to their south, open up some doors for themselves, and get on the road now. Rodri trying to hold it out. Do Rodri Senior proud, but it's not going to work out. Gonna have to bury his son on that one. Tree takes him out.
That's a bit morbid, isn't it?
I know.
AA Academy still looking to hold on, but Strangers have completely cut them out from the circle there. They do have 2 players knocked on the backside that they're going to struggle to pick back up again, but the overall threat from AA Academy is gone. So there is a potential for the boys of Strangers to move back up north and pick up their teammates, potentially. We'll see. If they do move up the hill, they do expose themselves. 6 smokes, though. I mean, at this point, I'm throwing the smokes. I'm creating the train.
Asia Mix with their ridgeline. Shockwave have been here for the longest time. They haven't lost anyone either. Not yet. Stranger losing their back. Next circle coming in soon. If this pushes south, I mean, this is Dagestan's time, right? This has to be their chance. They've got a lot of control over the south side, but Star Esports are in a pretty strong spot on the south edge.
Yeah, typically for Dagestan is moving up towards this northern edge. There's a lot of places you can be seen, and I think for Dagestan, it's more of an idea of playing on the edge side and waiting for teams to push into them, because now they have to play a passive game and wait for a lot of these teams on the northern side to sort of take one another out, and then they can swoop in and pick up the win for themselves. So yes, they'll have a lot of control in the late game, but we're talking late game. We're talking about stage 7, stage 8. Because Zadira's position is known on that north side. Yeah, it's a bit more of a slow game now for Dagestan. They can certainly still pick themselves up eliminations if they can spot them.
I'm looking at Shockwave as well here, right? Because at the moment, they haven't really had as much of an impact as they would like. 3 eliminations, and they're going to have to leave their stronghold compound, right? And everybody, of course, is going to know exactly where they are. The question is who can do anything about it. Star Esports in their Wizard Tower, going to have to leave that too. And that run out is covered by also everybody else.
Jakey looking for the final players from Asia Mix. Really quick wrap up there from Shockwave onto Asia Mix. Very, very well done. And Shockwave had a ton of control from this north side for a long time. They gives it a really strong spot inside the circle, but crossing the bridges is going to be very difficult. Brothers in Arms, Star, as well as Big Baby, who have had a very strong spot for a very long time, and Lawrence has been sort of lording over the deep in the water there.
At the moment, though, Tokyo is slap bang in the middle of the water. He is Aquaman right now, or Namor, depending on your franchise proclivities. But I think one's more famous than the other, and only one's been played by what's his face? Can't remember. Anyway, Brothers in Arms making their way up the shoreline on the north edge, trying to make something work. But look at this, a full 4-player in single vehicle rotation. I hate to see it, but it might just work out. Dagestan, they're split right now, remember, 2 and 2, dropping 1 on a low angle there. Might just confuse Dagestan enough, but the regroup comes through. Dagestan disciplined here.
Yeah, they are just sending off. Again, this is what I was talking about. They have to play a little bit more passive, a little bit more safe. And Star understands this as well. They're one of the few teams that could disengage from that fight on the north side. So this is also a winning position. They know that, so they move down over towards the south side to try and take this engagement with Dagestan. But a very quick regroup over towards the buildings and the cover means that Star's wind's been taken out of the sail.
Default trying to get the peaks over the top of the rock. Strangers taking shots across the river. Default using that third person over the top on the UAS as Brothers in Arms try and make their break for it. Shockwave kind of being left alone on the northern shore. If they can get rid of Brothers in Arms, they got a real good chance here. Back to Zada. Able to find one more. Shots over towards the bridge line. Can they get more done here? Can they stop Brothers in Arms from doing too much to stop their way? Because at the moment, one dude's down, low HP in the back lines. They've got to move fast.
Yeah, Shockwave was sort of doomed on this northern side, and they were just looking to pick up as many eliminations as possible from that spot whilst they could. But getting across the bridge that was held by so many teams, because so many teams do like to post up on that bridge side. So Shockwave's just trying to clear out as many teams as possible on this northern edge. Circle pushes towards the north again, though, and this gives a little bit of an opportunity for potentially Brothers in Arms and Big Baby of all people. Lawrence has been having a right game for himself.
That's me. Nades over towards Star Esports and Dagestan. They've regrouped. They figured out, oh, hang on a minute, let's just put some nades into them. Taking Star down to 2 active, but it's only the one player there, and Satira, quick as you like, right over the top of them, and Star Esports are out. Now Dagestan can start to look to move north. They have got a couple of pieces of cover. The terrain does give them some advantage as well. And nobody really is there to challenge them. I mean, Brothers in Arms on one player. Is it Shockwave the only team who could challenge right now?
Yeah, for Dagestan, that was a very good pickup because they knew they need to finish that fight very quickly so they can start looking over towards that north side, because they're a team now that can certainly pick up much of these eliminations towards the end game for themselves. Shockwave is doing a good job to hold on, but sends the water. Likely Lawrence is going to take out Jakey as well. This has been such a problem position. I'm surprised no one's just naded him out, honestly.
Maybe they're just not fully aware of it. There's finally some shots. Lawrence goes down. And Tokyo is the one to do it from the other vehicle. Okay, let's get going. That is going to be Big Baby out. The water continues to bubble with the fuse. But it's all Dagestan just lording over it all. Those land dwellers, so proud.
Organizada very low. Pick himself back up again, but the circle's going to indefinitely take these players out.
Go on, Jakey.
Jakey's trying to move around to the side. He'd have to, basically, his main job here is to take out a Academy. 11 elims. I think Shockwave's done enough from the position they were in. This is a pretty fantastic game for Shockwave. They understood the assignment, which was get as many elims as possible as the game slipped away from them.
Jakey seems like he's waiting for 88 Academy to actually get more done. Shifu may think... Oh, no. There it is. He's dead. Shockwave are out, and it's 88 Academy to get up into second place. 13 eliminations, probably 14 eliminations. Tokyo may just go down underwater, though. And that is Dagestan with a chicken dinner from the South Shore. They played from ruins on the split, and it has worked out for them. They were able to ruin everybody else's plan. Gets flashbanged.
I did get flashbang. Now let me sort out the focus as well in the meantime. But yeah, Dagestan, great game from them. Very, very fantastic maneuvers from Dagestan. Again, they played the game pretty perfectly. They understood what they needed to do in which scenario. And this is one of the few teams that's been able to put up some strong games fairly frequently over this tournament. So 23 points total on that match. Shockwave were able to get themselves 16. Big Baby basically won off the back of Lawrence's back. Very, very interesting rotations they made from the early game. I think they went through basically 7 teams to get towards that bridge side. And Team Spirit go down with just 2 points. This is one of the few games where S Eagles not done great either, so 3 points for them. But I think that came with the fact that they just deathballed it into one spot.
Well, we need to refocus for the last 2 matches, as we are going to go to a short break.
first place spot. Shifu's always been a very, very good player on that side. And I think that in the past he's had some really clutch moments, but it does feel like Zadira, Limbo Boom, all these players on the team have really upped their game in a big way to kind of support Shifu a little bit more.
Having a lot of presence within this lobby. They've been pretty strong on those holds. Playing path, they drop out quite late here, down towards the south side of the map. Looks like we may be getting some Los Leones contests, but no Team Spirit are going a little bit further over towards Chumacera. The North Circle comes back in again. We're going straight back up towards La Cobreria.
Yeah, I think the last time it was a little bit more over towards Crater Fields and less centered over towards La Cobreria, and then we got some hard shifts on that side, which, again, it's a difficult scenario for teams on that game where it was up and down again, so it was very few teams that knew exactly where they were going. But yeah, I think this is a bit more of a fair one in terms of where you want to go.
Shockwave. They are closest to the circle. They are towards that north side. In fact, in this circle currently. Nobody taking casualties just yet. And actually, Far Voice have decided to go even further beyond and potentially even roll up towards La Cobreria. It wouldn't be a terrible idea, right? To just grab some vehicles, head out there because the plane path was so easterly. Nobody making that move just yet, though.
Yeah, no one's quite gone for it. I think a lot of teams are still figuring out where they want to play on the map right now. And again, there is a lot of these high ground positions over towards the north side of the map, which will get picked up eventually. But right now with that plane path, a lot of teams are just preferring to get looted up as much as possible. Again, so many vehicle spawns on this map will allow you to rotate quite quickly over towards that top side, and the entirety of the western side of the map is clear because of that plane path. So teams should have ample opportunity to make their way up there very shortly and make those wide routes, because it is confirmed to be quite north. Wide routes on the northern edge of the circle are going to be pretty easy to make happen. I think most teams are fairly comfortable right now just to be in, so to speak, looting mode.
Yeah, early drops. Grab those vehicles. I expect within the minute we'll see some teams start to swing out wide and maybe break out further. For the time being, though, cohabitation is on the menu for everyone. Over towards San Martin as well. I'm looking at Getzo. I mean, Getzo have got all the way to Campo Militar with Ked, and they are slowly making their way over through Torre Hamada. I'm very interested in this Canina power split. Like, I think that Perks being so far down south, as long as he's got a vehicle, is fine, and it fully intends on, as soon as he gets information and sees some players moving towards him, rotating back up north. But the rest of Canina Power I'm not so sure on, right? I feel like they are really committing over towards Torre Hamada and potentially could do better by shimmying a little bit further west if they finish looting.
Yeah, I think for Perks, maybe he's trying to stay away from the rest of his team because he doesn't want to get naded by Badussi. Might be the reasoning.
Fair.
But yeah, quick loot up. And I think he was just looking for a vehicle spawn down on that south side, which he now has as he makes his way back up to the rest of the team. Again, there's not that many around Tierra Bronca, so for him to pick up a vehicle nice and early and get back to the rest of the team, it's nice to see. Getzo drops in Campo Militar. It was pretty good timing for them on the plane path because they decided to drop early. They'll take Campo Militar, and we had this heavy northern shift on the circle, which gives them ample time to actually loot up and then get into a strong position on those high grounds.
That's a real loud Lambo there. A real groan from the engine. Just pops an energy drink in the driver's seat. Not very safe. You shouldn't do that if you're watching at home and can drive. Fun fact about me, Blank, I don't have a driver's license. There you go.
Fun fact about me, I've got a provisional driver's license.
Oh, I've got one of those. Everyone's got one of those.
For ID.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just say, do you know who I am? And they let me in.
I could get in a vehicle.
I'm allowed to occupy vehicles.
Yeah. I can get in the passenger seat.
That's right.
I do need to learn to drive.
It is on the menu. It's definitely something I need to do.
True. I can drive in game though, so it's fine. Eagles are on their way out. Yeah, I've done a lot of driving experience. I reckon I could get in a car, do well.
As long as it's not in Max Man's vehicle, I feel like that's the most dangerous place to be.
Same thing. Yeah, he will run you over.
Somehow.
Some way. To be fair, it's usually me running over Maxman, but it's a case where I'll park the vehicle really nicely and then Maxman will get knocked. I'm like,
how's that?
How?
He'll run really fast into the bumper.
Why are you behind the car?
He'll strap on the rocket boots and just slam straight into the crowbar, into the rear axle.
But he does carry me a lot. So
That is true.
This is the difference.
It's the trade-off. Sometimes he carry, sometimes he fall over. And right now, Shockwave are falling over something awful over towards the feet of Far Voice Gaming. That's slap bang in the middle as well. And Shockwave had a chance to get really central on some decent hills, just to the northwest of water treatment. Oh, I love that bark of the K9. But it's not going to connect this time.
LRTs need to make the way up. And you can kind of understand why Shockwave tried to aggress onto this location. It's because it's one of the stronger spots in the circle right now. One of that central high grounds. But not only is this high ground, it also has the compound up here as well. So you've got that added bit of safety. The thing that is questionable, and you can see why Shockwave made a later crossing to this location, is because you look at Far Voice, the ammo count is terrible, the utility is terrible, and they're aiming to play in a position where you need to hold for the rest of the game. So, yeah, I don't know how long-lived this location is for Far Voice. More than likely going to get trampled over by another team if the circle continues to head over that way, because they just won't have the things to hold on to it. So that's why Shockwave, they took a little bit longer to lose, because I imagine they were ready for the long haul to just sit in that location for a while and didn't expect the team to be instantly there.
Oh, I just hate that vehicle noise so much. It's the worst one.
Or the electric car.
Yeah, it just sounds like it's an accordion that just can't quite get started, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I feel every time I hear it.
I think it sounds quite satisfying.
Oh no. On a take it or leave it choice, I'm leaving it.
Oh, next pop. Wow. Heavy over towards that eastern side, towards Cruz de Valle. And Getso pretty happy with their position. Shockwave tried to find a new location to stay, but have directly moved in towards Blue TMTX. Nate's flying back and forth, though, from Shockwave and Blue TM. The Brothers in Arms are also here. What is this?
Shockwave lost 2 players early, and it looks like they might be losing more as well. Brothers in Arms encircle it all. But now can Blue TM hold off? Well, they still have players upstairs to worry about. Looks like it's going to be too tall an order. There's bodies falling left and right, though. GG Zada holding the top of the stairs effectively, and Blue TM swept aside. A chance for him to actually take down a lot of the Brothers in Arms. Doesn't have any needs to do it, though. Loops up towards that high ground, thinks better of it though. The Molotov burns him away from the window, and these reses can come through. Brothers in Arms can really start to just choke this fight out, stay alive as 4 in a pretty decent spot out on the west.
Yeah, it's been a wild third party that came through. GGZard just finds himself a nade, but it's a little bit too late for him. He can still maybe lob one down the stairs as they try and push up over towards him. It's just the one nade here. Has some smokes. Early nade. Gets a lot of damage done, though.
A lot of punishment sent over the wall. They don't rush it. They're playing this slow. They're playing it by the book. They don't want this to be challenged at a later date. GG Zada has the corner, and he's dead.
Yeah, don't give him any 1v1s. Everyone peeks out at the same time, and Brothers in Arms will pick themselves up a fair bit of loot, on top of the fact that they'll get themselves 3 eliminations from pretty swift third party. Over towards Blue TMTX. There's Far Voice Gaming, immediately vacated into another compounded location.
I'm trying to guess who the guy with the Mandarin characters is in their name, because Brothers in Arms have got, I think, a 6-player roster right now. Might be Zodiac. I'm not sure.
Potentially. Maybe. Big Baby's been out in the blue for a while. They're moving up from that south side, around truck stop. I'll head towards the south side of the circle. A little bit of a difficult crossing. It's sort of a bit of a deathly approach from the north side of Graveyard. Very open area, very easily spottable. That's why a lot of teams are shifting over towards the east and west side. They don't want to cross into this circle from the south. And I think Big Baby's probably going to divert over towards Cruz de Valle as well, just behind One for All.
Teams crunching in. I'm surprised we've only seen 2 rosters go down fully. Star losing a player. Not the end of the world, but not great. And look at how split they are on that northwest side. Next circle. Pops down south. Okay. This is a real interesting one. It cuts out Cruz de Valle on the northeast side, which leaves just open terrain between Cruz de Valle. I think water treatment is just in on that northwest edge, so potential for a lot to go on there. That hillside to the east of water treatment, I think, is going to be prime real estate, but it's going to be so heavily contested.
Yeah, it's difficult to get in there. Having a bit of a dance-off right now. The boys on Eagles.
Okay. Hopefully they get
Very
moving
cool.
soon. There we go. That did look cool.
Yeah, they've got the skins to match the chops in game.
That's right. Now, if only they remembered to load up their anti-cheat every game, they wouldn't have lost 16 points.
True. Eagles. Over towards that western edge. I mean, they are fairly central right now. Can play from that position. Asia Mix, bit of a tough time for them. They'll be rolling straight into AA Academy. Team Spirit also in this location, as well as Far Voice, who held a pretty strong spot for quite a while. They finally do have some good loot on board. Goose shot from Lost.
Well, this is about to get pretty mucky. Asia Mix with the challenge, and Lost is so ready for it. Anything but Lost right now. He hops out, gets back in the vehicle. Luna has a go. It's not going well. They haven't managed to connect it just yet. Retro under pressure, but Luna again not finding that spray. Actually runs almost out of ammo entirely on the weapon. On they go, on they truck. Shots being found now. Far Voice Gaming do manage to take the players down on the outskirts there. Inaus wants to make his way to in the vehicle. Retro uphill with the nade. The blue zone envelops the fight. Luna might eat some, but the flak is bigger downhill. And it gathers speed as it rolls. Far Voice Gaming, they're on 7 eliminations now, Blank.
Yeah, good match so far. I think they've been making some pretty apt rotations. I mean, they've been very quick with it. And it's been a little bit sparse in terms of the loot, but they've made it work. They've certainly made it work. There is this western hillside to be worked from at the moment, where currently Stranger and Team Spirit are fending off for position, but just as a lot of teams get to the circle, the next one's about to hit. Look at all the space that is very unplayable towards the center of the circle around Hacienda.
That's the circle shrink, and it goes towards those water treatment hills. Kanina Power in a good position. Dagestan, they're also pretty decently placed right now. The ridges that sit around the roadside, they've got a lot of control over the east edge, and I think a lot more teams are going to be pushing in towards that western side, so potential for them to just kind of stay out of things.
Nate's flying over towards Matic. Wants to rejoin the rest of his team. I don't know if that'll blow up the vehicle. They are really sending nades in now. But he just wants to regroup the rest of his squad down the hillside. Kitsune does actually pick up a fairly good spot for them. They just need to get there to him. Oh no, it pops the vehicle out of position. That is so sad.
Yeah, and they can see that slow roll out there for Matic. The smoke was going to be the cover that he needed, but now is he tipping back towards the blue? I mean, he's eating damage from somewhere. There's the roll out wide. 2 players from Strangers want to keep this going. Matic looking to heal. Can the rest of Team Spirit back up Matic? Because there it is. There's the shot over towards Brett. Matic has a nade of his own. Nomi in for the pickup. And out they go.
Actually. Yeah, that's a lot of damage dealt to them. And now Matic can get regrouped. Good pickup from Nomi.
Huge.
pull them back over towards Kitsune, who initially made that rotate into this compound, and that will give them a chance to play the game out.
Will be a great chance for them too. Their main hurdle at the moment, as it is on the tables, so it is in the game. The Eagles sit in front of them, a lot more central on this circle, clumped up as they like to be. Birds of a feather and all that. They flock together, as the saying goes.
Frozen Arms take a knock there from the Eagles. Take shots out their way. A nice central position to play in at the moment. And all the players from Team Spirit all group up. They're inside that compound over towards the western edge. Brothers in Arms slowly depleting in terms of players on side. I think Strangers has not had a bad game here. The interesting approach down towards the south side, though.
Getso has the nade. Over towards Carry Boy. I think the cook looks good. Bounces up once. Ooh, just short. Should have been perfect, but Carry Boy steps up wide. That suppression from downhill. Goodness me. You just can't get rid of him. It's like a cockroach down there. Finally.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, there it was.
Yeah, pretty easy nade there for Obito to hit. Let's get suicide in Campo Militar and made a pretty quick rotation over towards water treatment. Canina Power all grouped up. Had that win over on Miramar dashed away by the Eagles. We played a very strong game there. Again, some late utility coming out from Canina Power. Oh, early I should say, really. Over in La Cobardilla. Yeah, again, this game is going to get very hectic very quickly, just in terms of the playable space. When the next circle hits, it's going to force a lot of teams to fight one another who are all playing on the edge.
That basin that sits in the middle, that open field south of Eagles, west of Dagestan now, cuts so much of this circle away as playable terrain. Those hay barns in the middle, you know they're a last-ditch attempt, and I'm imagining we're going to see Strangers try and send on at least two of those to try and get themselves in with a chance later in this game. Canina Power actually in a very favourable position on that north side as well. I like this Canina Power position up there. I think they've got a lot of mobility to both sides of the circle.
Yeah, I think for Canina Power, it's just a case of having a bit of pressure and expanding a little bit of their territory a bit. I think in some of our other games, they were slightly lackluster when it came to actually forcing other teams to beta them. Got 17-15, one for all, Big Baby, Strangers, all in tough spots now. And I think for Strangers and Big Baby, it's probably the worst positions for them because they have to cross out into some pretty treacherous areas.
Far Voice, nade up towards Getso. And it lands onto Obito perfectly. Has another one. We'll try and follow it up with a flush and maybe a second knock as well. They can't really push further up the hill. There's too much suppression. Team Spirit. Just daggers in the heels for Far Voice, and they will find a knock. Einaus continues the nade pressure, but slow and low. We'll get a shot. Looking to get shut down now as Ketso continue to just not be able to press this ridge. Team Spirit making life tough.
And they need to. They absolutely need to. If they want to rotate over towards that north side, they need to put the pressure on. Because that's likely the only rotation that Team Spirit can really make. Getting up this hill is going to be difficult. Man, Banner feels the heat from that Molotov. Pretty well placed grenade. Honestly, I think all things considered. But just does not find any kind of...
Double nade. Bang, bang.
That's big, yeah.
Ooh, but Gentle goes down as a trade. You take that as one for all because you get the flush as well. It's likely that you can get the res depending on how many more nades Banner has. Those smokes blooming, I mean, they cut off Banner's sightlines, but they do allow you to get the res as well. He does have two more nades in the pocket. A nade up high from the backlines from King, but Banner pushes out in front of it.
Banner pushing up, gets nothing done. Immediately sat down. Stranger actually takes a shot over towards Team Spirit, but quickly they res that player up, but they are forced into this fight with Getso now. An initial nade they need to hit desperately.
Rotation, and unfortunately effect goes
so
down.
Annoying.
That is a real bad time for that to happen as well, with the blue zone pushing in. That knock maybe confirmed soon. The nade goes short there. Nomi takes a lot of damage on the high ground. Matic down as well. This is looking shoddy now for Team Spirit. 2 players alive. Nomi descends the hillside. Getso kind of trapped in their own smokes here. A potential to just hand off this fight to Kaneda Power.
Yeah, I think the question is why no one took any shots over towards Strangers. Eagles haven't poked out once over towards that side. There should have been some real easy shots to take. The Strangers crosses over some of the most dangerous ground. Easy as anything.
Over the top. I think this might be the end of Team Spirit for this match. They are trapped. Back to the blue, being pushed in. I don't see how this goes any other way for them. Nomi will go down, and that is it. Kitsune is out. And as our Team Spirit for this match. We'll have one more match to play today. I want a better performance here. Kaneda Power, I mean, they flexed out a little bit, but they haven't really slowed Getso down. They haven't, as you said, taken shots over towards Stranger, so maybe squandering their position a little bit.
Yeah, I think that push only really works for Team Spirit if they assume other teams are going to... Like, look at this. Look how out in the open they are. Down towards the side. Such easy shots to take for Kaneda Power. Eagles could even just toss grenades over there. Everyone waits for Team Spirit to make a move on that northern edge before they do anything. Very unfortunate for Team Spirit. You can see the decision making that happens there. Again, you're relying on other teams to make the play work, though, and that doesn't always pan out, it seems.
Devil popping the smoke on the door frame. They don't need sidelines. They're holding off a push. Strangers are rolling on in. And getting in through the doors here is tough. Now they can answer with nades, but they actually send a player straight on in and actually into the thick of it. Devil suppressing the door frame to allow his teammate to roll back on in, and they are regrouping. They are playing so close together. Tree launches a nade long and gets one done. Devil is down, and there's another one onto OMG. The off angle is good. Another nade in from Brett, but there's finally an answer. Jubber looks for the spray, but can't quite connect. No one's on the inside of that. No one on the receiving end. A nade can not quite find this flush, and the res can come through. He wants to go higher up. He wants to go all the way upstairs.
Yeah, they seem a little bit clueless right now. The Eagles, as Islam actually hits some decent shots. There's a good Molotov as well. And on the outside, Strangers are getting battered and bruised by Big Baby.
There's no way the Eagles can get back up to 4 here. That would be crazy.
Yeah, no more nades available. Looks like Strangers will have to just go for the full regroup. Yeah, full four. But they're on the outside, and that's Getso. Awesome shots. Islam's down. Alicio looking for the last shots here with the pump.
Hops out through the window and trades off the fight to Monkey. Hands on over, Getso still continuing to put pressure down here. Juba, one of the last 2 to stand. Devil still going. 1 knock found, and the rest of the Strangers roll up the stairs. But Devil nearly finds the 3rd. Alicio closes it down, but now Getso can start to push straight on through. And 1 player against 4. You need these reses. You need them now. The smoke is keeping them safe for the time being, but that's going to burn away.
Alicio looking to get the quick first aid off. Very good push from Strange. I mean, it's a surprise they've been alive for this long, honestly. Good shoot. Oh, they can't! They shots him!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hit him with the do-si-do. Very nice. Dagestan, though, still going strong on that eastern side. Really, really well done to Dagestan. I genuinely am very happy with what I'm seeing from Dagestan throughout the entirety of this tournament so far. A team that I actually would be very happy to see go through into PMSL. They had a struggle of a push over towards that eastern edge, though.
surge into the lead after their previous match and looking to continue that pace as Eagles are down, Team Spirit are out as well. Extending their lead towards the end of the day would be brilliant news for them. Zadira down on the back lines though, and I think 5th place may be as far as they can go with Big Baby there, with Kaneda Power as well. Able to play the other side, and Shifu already low, but he's gone through the first check of the valley, but I don't think he's going to get much further than that. Tries to roll up to an occupied shack.
Yeah, Shum goes down because he has to expose himself. 2 daggers down. 5th place, 3 eliminations. Now it's down to our final 3 teams. Kanina Power, Big Baby, and Getso, who are all playing this one out. Now for Kanina Power, they have had a very strong position for this entirety of the game, but really not got a lot done. And Getso has been far more impressive on what was a fairly tough crossing.
They pushed up, they third-partied the fight as they needed to do. Nade over from Ked towards Perks. Does do damage, but doesn't get the knock. And now he has to fold back into the rest of the team. Kanina Power, I mean, they've been on this high ground position for a long, long time. I liked it for a while. I think if you'd asked me to predict back in stage 5 or so, I would have said Kanina Power. But they're now trapped kind of on the edge, and it's up to Big Baby, really, I think, have the majority control. But the next circle could shift completely away from them and change things entirely.
Well, the thing about Kanina Power's position is it's a position that has strength around about stage 5, honestly. It's where you need to take shots at absolutely everyone. You need to be involved in engagements because you have a very safe rotation to come back to later on. So yeah, Kanina Power just haven't got enough done against the more treacherous teams in the lobby that are versus them. I mean, shots need to constantly coming out towards Getso. Shots need to be constantly coming against Big Baby, and I don't know how Big Baby's managed with 4 players on that south rotation they made, but it's very impressive nonetheless.
They've been pretty staunch in their hold there. Big Baby send Baban forwards. Controls so much of the circle because of it. The difficulty, of course, is that it's vulnerable. If Kanina Power get a nade onto that angle, things change. But Getso moving parallel to Kanina Power. The uphill advantage, is it going to work out for them? That smoke on Badusi's left right now is the thing that's keeping him safe from Big Baby and allowing them to stop Getso moving in. A regroup with 2. Oh, that nade looked dangerous, but they do survive it for a moment longer. Into the vehicles. Out goes the Armada from Getso.
Yeah, they hear a lot of the fight, and they're actually going to try and backstab on the Big Baby because they see that they've sent up 2 over towards the north side.
Oh, wow.
Oh, a beater, okay. Drops out of the vehicle. He does absolutely own himself, but, you know, it was a distraction play, and now the rest of Big Baby have to come back. This is a very, very well-coordinated push here from Getso.
Kanina Power, they haven't got an Enox, and they are moving down in towards the field as well. Getso, they'll need to pick players back up, and Kanina Power will start to heat lead across the valley. And this is a brilliant move from Getso. Their crosses have been excellent. I love watching them this match. And they're on 15 eliminations so far. A much-deserved tally. Can they get it across the finish line?
I think a Big Baby, the mistake they make is the fact that they try and push out the 2 split there, and their full purview of Getso just peek over, and they're like, look, eastern side is completely free for us to just annihilate. And even if a Beto goes down, you just, the full force of 4 players going into 2 is usually too much to handle.
And is fully covered off as well from the rest of the valley, meaning there's no backup available from that forward duo. Excellent timing. But Getso now trying to go back on their tracks. Ooh, the high ground angle spotted. Obito is low. Kanina Power on 1. So are Big Baby. 2 players alive for Getso. Okay, things have gotten a little bit hairy here. Big Baby can get this res. Nade long for the backlines from Not Glad. Doesn't quite get the job done. Is there a second? Not going to find it, but there's the burn. Zero's going down. There's no 2 ways about it. More shots do ring out. Getso clear Big Baby away.
Not picking their other players back up again. It is just 2. Dutchu should be confirmed here by Kanina Power. Badusi, 2v1. Not much opportunity to get Dutchu back up. So Beto and Not Glad versus Badusi. These final moments, 3 nades, and these got to be 3 powerful nades from Badusi.
He just wants these flushes. I mean, getting these 2 extra points would be a monumental achievement. Oh, I thought that was on. I thought that was right onto Obito. That was 1. A second as well. That looks pretty good. Finds the knock. Okay, he's into a 1 versus 1. But it's the backline. It's the MG3. He's got the spray. He's got the first tickle. Does he have the full Monty? Not quite. Just yet, not glad. From the backline, Zabito will get flushed away. He's got 2 first aids. Does he have time to enact it? Does he have time for the heal? Needs to be careful of the push. Hops up onto the tire. His ankles are safe, but the blue zone's pushing.
Ooh, dear me.
Nade?
This is intense. That final nade, we talked about the big 3.
Oh, it's big. Oh, it's big, but it misses. It's out wide, and he goes for the spray out to the side and out of nowhere. Budussi for Kanina Power takes it away, and it's completely thrown Blank's camera for a loop because that was insane. From out in the field, Getso looked like they had it all under control the whole time, and they just turn it on its head. What a way for Kanina Power to close that down.
Yeah, unbelievable finish for Kanina Power. And again, realistically, that's a game they should have dominated in, to be honest with you. But at least they win it in the end. But Budussi, the nades are very strong. Sometimes they're too strong for his teammate, but they're much too strong for the enemy as well. The MG3 as well, you would have thought he'd win that engagement, but they blew a lot of their nades quite early in that engagement. I don't think Getzo had any left. But they took a lot of these off angles, and again, I think they had time to pick Dutchu back up again if they drop smokes. Instead, they're very confident in their 2v2, and it goes against them. Getzo, though, even if they didn't get that win, they get 24 points off the 18 staggering eliminations they're able to pick up in that game.
Absolutely brilliant stuff coming through from Getzo. I think that, to be fair, apart from those final moments, they played a blinder of a match, right? I think it's fair to say a really solid performance from Getzo. We're hoping to see more of that, please, as they jump up the tables with those points added to their tally. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with the final match of the day. Don't go anywhere. Be quite exciting to go back to the grassy pastures once more. Circles again continued their streak so far of being pretty nasty. I think we've had 1 or 2 sane circles, but the rest of them have been, have been extraneous to the membrane and have been very much nutty. So we'll have to see if we're going to be gifted with another wild performance. I mean, those river crossings in a previous Erangel was pretty nasty to a lot of teams, right? And teams ending up in the water, having a bad time.
Yeah, I think that we've had some pretty tough circles. I think the only circle so far that has been fairly decent would probably be our very first angle of today, which is dead center, and that's about as comfortable as you can get it, really. But since then, all of them been quite difficult to play. Very northern circles, very southern circles. Some of our playing paths have been difficult as well. But again, this is just how it goes. And some teams are thriving within it, so you definitely know that this is not a case where you can't play these ones out, because Dagestan's done very good from practically everywhere on the map and has set themselves for success. Even when they do go down in the circles, they were in a position to try and find some of those points. But here we are, header angle, our last game of the day.
Heading on over, Severny down to Primorsk on the plane path this time around. So maybe a little bit of a stretch over towards Milta, potential conflict on some vehicle routes. I'm imagining to break out to that east side, especially if teams want to go over towards Novo, towards Sosnovka military base as well. Could be some vehicle hot drops in this match. But Primorsk, very accessible for the Eagles, should be fine to drop over towards Farm for Team Spirit. They might have company there. Dagestan, looks like they are out in the thick of it as well. And dropping very central on the map.
Get themselves out of the plane nice and early. And we'll wait for this circle, because it could be dastardly. You never know.
Military circle. Let's go.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the game. I would not put it past the game at all that to happen. But yeah, as things stand, like we said, Getzo on the chase. 72 points with Strangers on 70. Shockwave and Star feel like the other two big teams. Big Baby seem to have found themselves some decent matches, as of Asia Mix. Two strong teams, but not quite finding themselves the big performances just yet. And here's a circle all the way up to the northern side around Stalba.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly an interesting place to play.
I want a Stalba circle, right to the peak of it. Let's go. All the way up there. Kanina Power. They're right on top again. See if they can mirror their Miramar performance as we do head on north. Get so close by to Far Voice Gaming down on that military island. Normally Far Voice over towards Novo, but needing some vehicles, so they are going to drop on that north coast road. Rotate over there, and I imagine break that bridge later on. Will they lay a trap for Getzo? That has been a tale as old as time for them, it seems, over on that military island as well, because they should be aware that there's a team co-occupying that South Island, but only time will tell. Primorsk for the Eagles.
Yeah, their typical spot that they play in. Won't be moving anywhere else anytime soon. You got Strangers up towards Yasnaya. Kanina Power on the north side of Rozhok once again. Shockwave get themselves a nice start over towards Severny. Pretty decent position to start playing their game from. And Dagestan's fairly close to making a decent rotate out. They could even head over towards Ruins nice and early, and then think about making that crossing over towards Box Compound and work in from there. They're going to try and get as much loot as possible. I mean, Apartments does have a ton of good loot in it.
They'll get what they need from here. Pick through the apartment blocks. Not a nice place to rent in, has to be said, but it's going to be great if you want to gear up for war. And that's exactly what Dagestan are setting out to do. They want to keep that top spot. They want to fend it off.
Picking themselves up a nice ticket going through to PMSL EMEA. And again, I think out of all the teams here, I do feel like Dagestan right now definitely deserves that spot the most. I think they've played the best. I mean, Team Spirit is certainly a team, I think a lot of people in the chat, we hear you, we respect you, would like to go through to PMSL EMEA again. And I think they're playing up to a good standard right now. But for Dagestan, it feels like they have clawed and grasped every opportunity they can get a hold of to get into that top spot. And are really hungry to play in that PMSL.
As you should be. It's a great privilege. It's an honour to be allowed to play in the PMSL EMEA. A lot of teams would love the shot at it, but only two of these teams will get that shot. No real funny business right now. The fact that there's 3 teams over towards the northwest, I mean, 1 team over in Zaki, Asia Mix as well, heading over to the north, currently north of Star Esports, who we're on board with, is interesting. I mean, the plane path from Severny down to Primorsk kind of means that, fair enough, you go for a backup drop over to Zaki, and a few more teams over to North George. I guess that kind of makes sense. But Asia Mix heading up to the coast is an interesting first rotation, right? From North George, they go up to that coastline and they can shimmy along. We've seen a lot of success from that coastal side. There's a lot of interesting hills to the west of Severny, so a lot of mobility for them there. Maybe looking to guard out Brothers in Arms if they saw them drop there.
Yeah, easily done from Zaki as well. I think Asia Mix has a great opportunity to do something like that. But we're still waiting for this first stage to really drop in. These teams start moving out. Getso playing a much slower game here, it would seem. And I'd hope they would as well, because it's certainly a match where I don't imagine One For All is going to stick around very peer for too long. So Getso can just loot up for a very, very long time inside of C Block and then work their way out over towards that north side of the island. They probably move around about halfway through stage 1. Or potentially stage 2. We'll see. I mean, that still does give opportunity for One For All to hold on, but looks like they're already scouting out over towards that north side.
17-15 finally leaving from Pachinki. They're going to try and figure out their crossing points as well, most likely sending to the north. It is still possible that it could be a Yaz Fields finish, though, but I imagine a lot of teams are prioritizing getting a foothold on the northern side. Phantom? Oh, okay, no, he's figured it out. He's fine. He's back on 4 wheels, as it should be.
Yeah, he's okay.
Miraculous.
Very miraculous. Quickly back in the vehicle and moves on.
Did you ever watch Fairly Odd Parents, sorry?
I watched a little.
There was like the mean teacher character. Whenever he said fairy godparents would do like these weird poses, but like very quickly in succession. Felt like that's what happened to the car just then. That's an old school reference.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I think I saw it when I was like very young. Do not have remembrance of specific events that happened.
It's a running thing that he does every time.
That cartoon.
It's a running gag.
I apologize.
It's all right. I forgive you. I forgive you for not knowing the minutiae of children's cartoons from the early noughties.
Yeah, it's not my forte. Blue Team DX, once again, having a great time. 44 points. I don't think we've had a lot of teams that have done shockingly badly in this tournament. But Blue Team DX certainly haven't had the most success. You get some of their rotations are actually not bad. But a lot of times they're getting caught off and they just don't have the same kind of gun skill. Team Spirit versus 17-15, who did rotate directly through them, so they'll pick themselves up a single elim, but not only that, they'll open up the gateway for them in front, with 17-15 being much weaker now, with just the 3 players.
A lot of fighting, scrapping it out now, seems to be being brought to bear. Blue Team, Star Esports, close by to one another, a lot of points slurped up for them. Oh dear, Woodson. Up the creek without a paddle there for him. Bad time on the northern side. And that hold for Asia Mix is going well as time treks on, trudges its pace out on that northern shore. Asia Mix hoping to get all 4 of these points tucked away and then break east, because that is a Stalber circle. Oh my goodness me. We're going right to the top.
It's a really difficult circle to play, actually, because you're not a lot of space, right? You can play on the sides of Stalber, and obviously Stalber is not a bad position, but there's very few good compounds. I mean, they can definitely head over towards the compound that sits just towards that western side of Stalber itself and play in that position. But that's already occupied by quite a few teams. Yeah, I don't know. Again, halfway through stage 2, that's typically the best time to go across. And once again, One For All just realizes there's 3 points available versus Getso. who now have to make the crossing all the way over towards that eastern side.
Asia Mix taking out Brothers in Arms on the northern shoreline. Asia Mix did take a knock, but they can res that. They can get on board. Their plan has worked, but are they going to be fast enough away from it to be able to get a good spot? Because now they have to push past Severny, potentially onto the coastal side, and a lot of teams are crunching in the same spots here. Stalber is such a weird area as well, because you consider the top of it, it's such a wide plateau that a solo team would really struggle to hold it against, say, two teams who are looking to push up from that south side or from that north side. So Canina Power have their work cut out for them if they want to try and hold all of that plateau at the top of Stalber Mountain, but then they get that oversight to the north.
Usually you kind of hold like the east and the west side. You can have two teams up there at the same time, but a lot of squads will opt just not even to play Stalber until late game, where it becomes a real feature. Nice nade though from Wagnazada onto Tokyo.
Opener for Shockwave, and a lot of damage sent towards Rodri in the back lines, and there's the nade to finish off. A nice airburst to seal the deal. Pushing in for Wagnazada, and the pump action deadly with it. He's a surgeon with the pellets there. Moves forwards with the AUG in hand, and now just the one player left standing. It's going to be Ragnar. Needs to get his Berserker Rage on here if he wants to take down all four of Shockwave. They are giving him a chance here. Wagnazada, with that back, is going to force this fight to be in this corner, and that's easy pickings. Nice coordinated push for Shockwave, and they hold out 8-8 Academy.
Yeah, assault from all sides, and then just take him out nice and easily in the end game. Yeah, beautiful done. And nice to see. Next circle will be popping pretty soon. See where he goes, because he could still head down towards the southeast side, but more than likely going to head over towards the west. Surprised we don't have many teams actually taking up that compound that sits on the west side of Stalber. It's a very strong spot. Good compounds in there as well, with lots of great sightlines, but I guess it is quite close to that southern portion of the circle, and you'd rather have more rotational routes on this north side.
Oh dear. That is, absolutely wild. That shift, I mean, 17-15, this is their dream scenario, right? This is a team that loves just get into a building, stay there, hope that no one comes knocking, because they don't have any trick-or-treat candies left. You know, they are fresh out right now.
They've got shotgun shells, probably.
That's not as friendly.
New. But it's what 17-15 definitely need, considering they've lost a player earlier on to Team Spirit. It's going to be a bit of a tough haul for them. Certainly possible. Pretty open ground around this area as well. Big Baby trying to move through. Lost. Damn. Nice shots from him onto Semtena.
Nice speed on that. The chunking out with the pump action, and Lost is still going. I mean, Star wants to take care of this backside, and a nade in nearly finds default. Lost pushing out actually into the blue zone. Self-nade? No, he's going for a wide angle. Looking for a new peak, but knows that the zone is only stage 3. He can get away with a lot more now.
One for All finds another player from Getso. I think for One for All, they have really played this game out for a long time. Feels almost cruel in a way, honestly. Asia Mix still looking for some more of those shots. We've lost with 5 elims on his side. Definitely the best player on the squad. Dimmy also finally another onto default, and Star just cannot get away from this. Shoom so incredibly low. Dimmy wants to chase it. I wonder if he can get this long toss on the nade.
Long arm on that one. Needs a bounce or two to see it. Not quite going to connect around the edge. Shoom wants the challenge and will be able to win that one out. Doesn't take damage in response, and now at the back lines, Shoom only has Lost to deal with. Default, I mean, he is resable, but not for much longer, so needs a little bit of a hurry up on this. Spray down, suppression. Lost has still got more left in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was just looking for some meds, honestly. He really did not have any. He's got no first aid kits either. I think he just about found one.
Ooh. Is he going to tag on the res? Oh, come on. Okay.
It's definitely impossible for him to even get him up at this point. He just wants to find the last eliminations. Great second knock. And Shoom takes a huge amount of damage inside that smoke. He's got 4 nades. He could just barrage this, honestly.
Hitting them with it. Bombardment. There's another nade. It bounces, doesn't connect onto Shum. Shum won this angle before, remember. Lost may have a better time of it, but instead diverts. Heads along the coastline. We've been out in the blue for a while, but Blank, there's been crazy things happening over in the circle. 17-15 still hold on the northern side, but they are only 3 now. You can see Big Baby shunting in on this north side right now. What's happening is One For All into Team Spirit on that east edge, and it is not going well for One For All.
Yeah, they are getting picked apart. Lost is still taking this fight. This guy is insane. Likely they will just go down to the blue at this point as we shift over into stage 4. This is so silly. Big Baby gets opportunity for themselves. As Gentle just gets run down. That's the final players from One For All taken out by Team Spirit. We now rock up towards the compound. I imagine they could probably take the one on the eastern side, and Shum goes down alongside with Lost, and Default likely to fall soon after.
Everybody loses on that west side fight. And Shockwave, they may just be worried about it, right? Unless, I mean, they're probably tracking the elimination feed out to that western side, but still, you know, it's a little bit tricky to maybe realize that all of the players out to your west have gone down completely, and you don't need to be worried about your back flank anymore. So potentially investing some resources where they may not need to. But, you know, conscientiousness, never a massive detriment. So if they're paying attention, that's a good thing.
Team Spirit tried to make a rotate over towards that compound that sits on the northern side.
Oh.
Huge shot there from Islam onto Magnum. Devil goes down. Shifu looks to peek up. Islam moves further in.
I wonder if he knows that Shifu's up on this ridgeline.
I think he does.
Seems to have an inkling.
A read on it, yeah.
He's got that eagle eye. He knows. He's not worried about it anymore, though. He's heard the vehicles reposition away. On the ball with the sound cues, this man. Over the top, there's Shockwave in towards Kanina Power to go down on either side, but Jakey has the inside track. Badussi is there. Savior for them in the last match. Will he be able to work his magic here again? No. He is shut out of this, and it will be Shockwave to stay alive with all 4. Suppression as Kanina Power go down, but these reses should be there. They have that smoke, they have that cover, a lot of time to get this done, because nobody's near Shockwave on the southwest.
Yeah, Shockwave, honestly, from this game starting in Severny, they've really tried to eke out as much control as they can from it, because this team's been definitely on the chase today. Wandu steps up, takes some shots over towards some of the players scouting from Eagles. It's Islam, as well as Devil. Maybe they heard this engagement?
Could have done. They were close enough. But they're outside of the circle. I mean, I don't know if Islam's position here is going to be super valuable for them. Not right now. He's keeping tabs. He's getting a lot of intel to their west flank. And Shockwave's next move, I mean, they're going to have to start to wrap around that Stalber Ridge. And he's getting out of there.
Yeah, Wandu spots the breakaway. I wonder if he wants to get some shots, maybe. Just back off, just making sure that he has left entirely. As the Eagles move further over towards the eastern side, directly towards Dagestan. Big Baby's controlling a lot of space right now, John.
Yeah, that compound that sits in the foothills gives you a lot of power, but they're sat up a little bit higher on the ridge lines that overlook it. These circles, man, I don't know what's going on, but Team Spirit are going to be happy about this as well. That position that they hold now on the eastern side went up in value. There's a potential for Dagestan just to ruin the day of Team Spirit on a good crash. Big Baby could third party it. Banner going for a swim, and I mean rightly so. This is the right play for Banner at this stage.
Yeah, it just wants to live the game out. There's so much water still in play that a swim can take place for quite some time. For Dagestan, it would be difficult for them to go for a crash considering they're playing with 3 players. They need to take pot shots. If they can find a knock onto one of the players in Team Spirit, maybe then Big Baby has coalesced onto that northern compound, which is further central. So there is now an opportunity for that southern compound to be taken. But you need to get close first for that to happen. Team Spirit should have sight lines. Oh, Shockwave's going for it. Okay.
All right, they're going straight on in. The north side is open, and they take it. I mean, it's no resistance. No one's even taking the shots. The Eagles going to allow them on in. And that's gone really well for Shockwave. They don't believe it. They can't believe their luck.
I mean, everyone was so concerned about that compound itself, they didn't even think to peek out on it. Islam, now peeking over towards that compound where Dagestan are currently playing.
Scouring those hillsides. Making sure he's got all the information possible before they make their descent, because they're going to have to. Effect,
nice shot from Effect.
He spots it. OMG goes down.
Yeah, that's a really good couple of shots. Islam attempts to get in as well, with Devil still on the high ground. Might have a peek over towards Limbo Boom. 4 nades though. I mean, they're in a pretty isolated location. Dagestan does have to move further in, so if they can get nades onto this spot, it'd be really good.
I think we're about to see a full rundown from Dagestan towards the Eagles' position. They're going to backfill. Devil's going to get the high ground shot, but Shifu is so ready for it. Look at this. Limbo Boom is there. He has the nades, but are they going to answer it? Nade is cooking. No, he thinks better of it. Zadira trucking around. Well, that's a nasty sound, isn't it, on that SK-12, but Devil steps up. That's the response you're looking for, though. Dagestan with that crossfire from Shifu, but Jabba can push up. Zadira trying to roll in, but the pellets coming down from underneath them as well. Slow the Eagles. They clip their wings, and maybe Limbo Boom gets back up here.
Absolutely. I mean, the problem for Eagles, which they didn't think about, is the fact that they moved down to this position. There's no way that they can challenge the guys from Dagestan, because moving up the hill means that they expose themselves to the angles from all the teams underneath. It's a smart play from Dagestan, especially smart play from Shifu, understanding they've probably left the backstop. That's a big nade into another. The airburst not quite close enough, but it's going to eventually go down. Beautiful.
Limbo Boom nails it from the sidelines, but now the descent is on. Shockwave are in the way. Eagles are out. Can Team Spirit ladder up and finish the day in second place in another qualification spot? Dagestan defending that first place. And Banner, by the way, still swimming. He's got his swimming costume on. It's looking great. In the meantime, though, Big Baby, they are firmly domesticated in their compound.
Pretty easy game for Big Baby so far. Dagestan has to literally cover this entire hillside with smoke. It's the only way they can potentially get in. Cheeky play from Team Spirit though, I like this, trying to cut them off on the plateau here. Yeah, they take shots straight away, they have an idea now.
Nomi and Kitsune breaking out on this split. Shockwave, I think, is the big X factor in this engagement, right? Because Dagestan are going to have to go towards it. They're playing as 3. They're going to have to commit to a corner. And in they go. Okay, dropping from the sky. Limbo Boom goes down first. Shifu next up for Jakey to try and take care of. And he's easy pickings for him. A slow, lilting, graceful glide across the opening. And Jakey's all too happy to pinch that one away. 1-2. Looks for the last. And now can Team Spirit make the most of this chaos, right? Dagestan have opened the door. Can they slip on in?
Yeah, with the speed at which that fight ended, it's very unlikely that Team Spirit's going to get too much done off the back of that. They even lose a player on a knock there. I think that's out from Big Baby. Also, some of the players playing on the high stories for Shockwave.
Ooh, Zadira.
Oh, silly.
What a timing. Oh, that was so bold to step out there. He knew there was another player. He heard those steps, and Zadira's not going down without a fight. Team Spirit still on the outside of this. They have got their backs to the blue, but they're in the next zone. Zadira finds his way up the staircase, and now Shockwave are wondering how to handle this guy. He's a real thorn in their side, and that's how you do it. You pull it out. You pull it out with a nade.
Spirit constantly taking knocks here. It's so difficult for them to get in. And they want to get across towards Shockwave. They lost a player. Magnezada takes down one of the players from Big Baby, which actually does help Team Spirit here. But I think so far Shockwave has been playing a pretty damn good game. Nomi has to quickly hit the deck.
Gets away with it as well. Managed to get some healing done. And they can bide their time just a little bit longer. Banner's still swimming, by the way, for 17-15, just in case anyone was wondering. He is a soggy man right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, there was so much water in play. There's no reason for him not to try and get a third place off the back of this, which is certainly possible. Team Spirit's now in a location where if they try and make a move, they're going to get taken shots by both Big Baby and Shockwave. They're still in the circle, so there's time to play on this ridge.
Let's go out to the water. Go on. Keep Banner in. That's what I want to see. Next circle coming through in about 18 seconds now. A wide split coming through for Shockwave right now, which does provide a little bit of a vulnerability to a potential full force crash for Team Spirit. And it would be difficult for Shockwave to regroup fully.
Is Alexa going crazy about that?
She might be, yeah.
I can hear her having a bit of a go at you.
Yeah, I've told her to stop now, so she should be okay. She's just really excited about this Shockwave and Big Baby standoff.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I get it. Do you want to be involved?
And Banner.
Big Baby off in the distance. There have been shots coming through. Ooh, if they can find one knock at least. I mean, he has taken damage. Again, one knock is all you need to open the door. They know they have to go for the heal, so 3 guns is better than 2. 3 guns is better than 4 at least, and this might be their opportunity to get around to the backside. They saw the cross. Nade's going to come out. That's a good crash, and they are in.
Oh, drops it down right onto Matic's feet, but he doesn't go down. He doesn't get knocked. That is incredibly important here. And now there's a major threat on the south edge. As a knock goes through, Shockwave is starting to chime into the fight as well. Lawrence getting knocked there. Crucial. An opening is found, and Team Spirit are up and to it. Do they know about Banner in the water?
Hey, through the window.
Nice.
Really nicely from Nomi. Opened up there by effect. Baban. And overlaid. More nades flowing through. Yeah, great crash from Team Spirit though. Shockwave happy to chime in. Not many elims here for Team Spirit though, unfortunately.
Not yet. They've only managed to get 3. All of them on effect right now on his tab. I really don't think they're going to know that Banner's here as well. So there is a big potential that they lose a player or 2 to that angle.
Yeah, he can just step up. Easily from the water. Nade's going out. That's pretty close.
Bombards the bus stop there. But Wandu wasn't having it. That one might be good. Bounces up into the air. Explodes above him. Not much you can do about it. He's just layering this down now. He's like, okay, Shockwave are probably going to have to come this way, so I'm just going to stop him from doing exactly that. Another knock. And there's the flush onto Wandu.
Yeah, I think the good thing about this push from Team Spirit is that they angle both the players that they saw cross to the other side. They angle them in complete purview of the boys from Shockwave. I think they have a general idea that there is a player out in the water. And now he has to breach land. So yeah, this is a very good crash from Team Spirit. And whoever made the call as well was like, he has to heal. We have to go now. And I'm glad that they all trusted one another and went for that play.
Banner may have given them a slip for a second, but Matic's on the ball. He's ready for it. Finally, he is put down to his watery death. And now we're up to 3 teams. A 4th place achieved, though, for 17-15. Still a good result, but now Team Spirit, they've managed to make an excellent crash work for them. 2 squads of 2. Now's their chance to pick up the remaining 4 elimination points. Getting an 8 elimination chicken dinner would be a great morale boost at the end of the day. See if they can do it.
Shockwave have to come out. I mean, they want these elims. Magnazada should get popped out of the vehicle. They're looking for the next. Matic does clean up the elim. No, he's only got 1 first aid kit, though, which is a difficulty. I think GG Zada might deny, possibly. No, he pops out.
All those nades that were thrown in fairly fruitlessly by Big Baby before would have been great right about now. But Baban will be able to hold it still. Overlaid. Oh, not quite going to be able to lay that one up. That nade underneath Baban looks pretty good. No, that's him cooking one. Sorry. I thought that was Nomi launching one through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there it is, the last one he's got. Surely.
That was a nice little bounce off the top of the bus stop. So now Overlaid and Baban, final 2 players remaining up against the 4-man from Team Spirit. I think this is likely to be a Team Spirit chicken dinner. I don't see this going the way of Big Baby.
Never know. He's just jamming out some tunes out in the grasses effect. Matic with the cross angle. I think that high ground rooftop position for Team Spirit is just going to be so good. Oh, beautiful.
Nice.
Perfect. 2 windows. No way you see that coming.
Yeah, it's a really, really good nade there. And now they just toss them all into the building because they have a general idea of where he is.
Oh, there he is.
Molotov through. Such good utility usage there from Team Spirit. Again, that feels like a Team Spirit game that we expect, right? Very, very smart, very methodical, and I feel like they're starting to understand the lobby a little bit now, and also playing in with one another. I think the big moment happens there where a call's made that we should push them after we get that damage through. It's not a knock, but they are forced to heal, and they cross. But they all go with that one call and actually head through. So I was very much pleased with the way Team Spirit handled that in game. Shockwave, though, I also have to massively commend them. Some insane rotates, some crazy fights that they were able to win and get themselves 15 elims from, which led them to a 20-point game despite going out in 3rd place.
Yeah, they did some huge bits there. I think the crowning achievement was getting into that compound, right? Where nobody was like, oh, they were like, oh, maybe we should scout it out. They were like, we're just going to go. See you guys there. And they get up to 3rd place for it, right? They managed to get decent headway.
It was very, very good. Let's take a look at the overalls now, because I think Team Spirit might just have leapt ahead of the Eagles into 2nd place. Yes, they have. So Eagles now at 103 points, Dagestan at 126. So they continue to push ahead there. Eagles don't fall behind by very much, up to 103. But again, Shockwave is closing the gap, and as this gets so, 80 points and 77. That's one good chicken dinner away. And again, that's just one more of those games that Shockwave just showed us right there, which we know can happen after the decent day they've had today.
Yeah, they haven't managed to get a chicken dinner just yet, neither have Getso, but there is still that potential to make things happen. I think, as it stands, this 2nd page feels fairly fine to me. I think Asia Mix, maybe they've shown a little bit more power than some of the other teams on this page, but they are at the top of it for a reason, at 62 points.
Yeah, again, it's been a very, very good set of days for us so far with our 2 days that we've had. We have 2 more days upcoming all the way through till Sunday, so you can find us there as well. So we're still playing out these matches to see who of these 16 teams, which 2 will head through to PMSL EMEA.
Yeah, there's only one way to find out. That's what I'm going for there. There's only one thing left to do. That's sign off for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you stay tuned because there is plenty more action. A whole nother half of this qualifier still left to go. We'll see you soon.
So again, I'm very, very excited to see this next match on Miramar because obviously very different map, very much a change of pace for quite a few of our squads, and we have seen some pretty tough circles on Miramar. Some teams typically doing a lot better than others. Canadian Power actually being able to have much stronger games on Miramar, I would say, than any other map, which is a struggle for them because they're getting most of their points from this particular map, which sits them around 59, which is 11th place right now, but they need to pump those numbers up on a wrangle. And they also need to keep getting points on Miramar, because this is their moneymaker, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. If they want to jump up a couple of places. Although, having said that, placement in this tournament kind of pales in comparison to just those top two, right? There's no money on the line. It is just the shot at getting to the PMSL later on this year. Next month, we'll be seeing them taking flight. But for now, we've got to qualify 2 more teams, and the only way to do that is get these games going. And it's Miramar. Puerto Paris, this is a really hard southwest plane, actually. It's cutting out a lot of area near El Azahar. The plane path from south of Puerto Paris, so up towards the south of El Pozo as well. So really, really heavily sent down to that southwest.
Yeah, it does cause some problems for some teams in terms of getting far up towards that north side of the map, but again, this might be a case of dropping roundabouts down towards Minas del Sur or Partona. Those are positions of the map that you might want to pick up as teams very, very quickly head out over towards that north side. SC Eagles likely to be dropping early alongside Los Leones, so you can get looted up quickly, as can Dagestan, who drop on the north side of Los Leones. But yeah, like you said, this is a tough playing path for a lot of teams.
We'll see if there's any hot drops going to come on through. As of yet, shoots on the east side of Los Leones getting a little bit dangerously close to each other. The Eagles in 17-15. Potentially crossing paths there. Dagestan a little bit shorter than that. Team Spirit, they're not going to be embroiled with Asia Mix. That's going to separate itself. The circle... This is such a chill circle compared to what we've seen so far. So I'm quite pleased with this. It keeps everything on the land. A lot of area is available there. It actually allows people to break up all the way to El Azahar, where maybe they wouldn't have wanted to rotate that far before. You could potentially envisage a world where somebody goes up past Impala up and loots and pushes in from that northeastern side at El Azahar. But I don't think there's too many teams situated to go for that as of now. Eagles may be wanting to do that, but they seem to be a little bit trapped in Los Leones for now.
Yes, slightly trapped at the moment. I mean, for them getting out towards that north side, slightly more difficult. Dagestan did drop on the south, so they're having a bit more of a rough time. But again, for teams heading up towards that north side, you're kind of stuck along this big old traffic jam that sits from El Pozo heading down towards Impala as One for All attempts to get over towards there. They are sort of close right now to 17-15. Brothers in Arms popping nades over towards Far Voice, who have become a very aggressive team as of late.
I like it. I like this change-up. I mean, why not, right? Why not learn these little scrappy fights in a situation where, frankly, there's nothing on the line for Far Voice Gaming at this point. These are, at this point, glorified scrims for this team, right? Their point tally is almost tripled by Dagestan at this stage. There's no way that they're coming back into this. So, try things out. Get a little bit freaky with it. And I'm really interested to see what that actually is going to do as a whole, right? Because for a lot of these teams, it's purely a chance to, one, showcase yourself as a player, showcase yourself as an IGL, and test out new strategies that you think may or may not be good. You can really try it in a full competitive format.
Which is fair enough. And again, this is what you want to be doing as of late, especially if you're not doing all that hot, is testing things out, seeing how they're going. So for other tournaments that might be happening outside of PMSL, some third-party tournaments, you can employ that kind of factor. When you've played against some of the best teams trying to compete to get into PMSL itself, Far Voice do finish off quite a few players, or at least one player from Brothers in Arms. The rest of the squad just on looks, sadly.
Down and out, 17-15. Eliminated 4 points for One for All. I was hoping for a lot more from One for All, purely because I'd sort of been researching puns, like from the Musketeers, from My Hero Academia as well. But I can't deploy them. I'm not allowed. They're not doing good.
Undeployed, sadly. It is unfortunate. But I mean, that's the way it goes.
Their first match, I felt like, was pretty strong, right? That Aaron goal where they swept on the north side of the quarry position, it felt like they were pretty decent, right? Like they had a little bit of go in them, but yeah, it just kind of faded away for now anyway. Hopefully they can get some of their mojo back. We'll have to wait and see.
You want some of the mojo back as soon as possible. I mean, they have been struggling since yesterday. I'm sure that they can do it. I mean, they have good players on the teams. They were making some unbelievably fantastic plays before, but now it's just not as strong. It feels a little bit weakened. Some of the scouting isn't as good. This is some good scouting happening from Star, though, right now, as Poker has a little look down towards Far Voice. We'll pass that back to the rest of the team.
Spots out. Marauders on the north. And they are pretty deadly at this point, right? They are definitely willing to go for these fights, as we've seen. He's not taking shots just yet. I mean, you don't take shots in this scenario purely because you're isolated and as a solo player. That is just an information gathering outpost. If you take shots, it's not unlikely that you have 2 or 3 players rock up to your position and immediately flush you. The point of being there is so that if you do have threat put your way, a teammate regroups onto you, you get some backup, and then you take the engagement. If you don't have multiple players taking shots at a position like that, it's just not going to be worth it. You're not going to get the knock. You're just going to give your position away and give them the information that you've just gathered yourself.
Yeah, which is not what you want to happen. Strangers are on our screens again. Again, there's such a glut of teams down towards the south side at the moment, John. Eagles rotating very closely to Dagestan. That is something I'm going to be worried about. Shum spots out Luna. We'll finish off with this knock that came through earlier. I'm very, very cautious about this.
Getting the flush. 2 fists for Shum. That's all he needs. Bang, bang, left, right, good night. Effect down and sprayed away by Getso. Okay, this is interesting. Could get a little bit spicy now as Team Spirit are split by Getso on their position. Nomi for the spray, challenges 1. Matic finds Ducci on the off angle as well, but Nomi immediately refragged there. And this is going well for Getso right now. Kitsune trying to establish something, trying to get into the fight, but it's 2 versus 1 on this angle, and then he's right on top of him. I'm surprised he didn't get knocked there, but he's got one of his own. It's cooking. He knows that these players are going to break close, has a long cook, and that's huge amounts of damage towards Obito as well. Kitsune trying to keep Team Spirit alive, and it'll do just that. A beautiful 1-2 punch from the nade and the spray over the ridgeline to allow Team Spirit to play on with 3.
Yeah, it's a fantastic nade coming through from Kitsune. Super cerebral. Rolex spots out Shifu up high. Gets those down. That gives a whole bunch of space right now to Team Spirit. And moving up towards Picado's side, playing around that ridge that looks over towards La Bandita. Star has just been hunting Far Voice for the first few minutes of the game here.
I mean, that's that information
2 elims.
That's that information gathering that they were able to get from that high ground from Poker.
Lots of shots popping off across the way.
Is it Brothers in
Team
Arms?
Spirit has to slow things down a little bit now, though, for themselves, considering they've got 3 players. We're heading into the next circle, so a lot of teams will just be posting up right now, not trying to get into too many fights, which is why it's a big worry right now for 8 Academy, Far Voice, Star, Brothers in Arms, and Shockwave. Woo! Wow.
All right, what a shift down towards the south side. Los Leones taking up a lot of ground, and the hills right now where Dagestan sit are going to be monumental. The north hills of Los Leones, some excellent high ground positions, very, very difficult to do anything against them, and the Eagles are perched atop it as well on the west flank. So a really tricky position for everybody to try and get towards now.
Yeah, Yeah, it's not a very fun position on the map either, John, just because you have this nasty ditch that sits in the middle. Team Spirit's going to have to deal with a lot of teams coming in from that north side. Asian Mix has done quite well to just kind of stay out of the way for quite some time here, John. So when they do head on in, they're likely going to be able to find themselves a pretty decent spot within the circle.
You'd hope so. The Eagles, I mean, they're wary of Dagestan's position. But for Dagestan, you take shots down here, you don't really want to take them out fully because they are guarding that west flank and playing the counterpoint to your high ground position on the east. And maybe you think the evil you know is better than the one you don't. Don't want to move them out of the way and have two teams take up occupation. Be more of a threat on the western side.
Dagestan still fending off with SC Eagles. I think they're their biggest threat at the moment. Down towards the western side of the map. You can't really peek out too often with SC Eagles understanding their location. So for Dagestan, it's more of a case of taking pot shots towards teams that surround them on that east and north side, because they have that high ground to play with, which is going to be so strong for quite some time.
Big Baby crashing into the same concrete. Now, be happy for their position for the time being anyway. They will hold just to the north of the Eagles. The West Hills that sit not close enough to the ridgeline to get bothered by them, but will be plenty of cover out that direction as well. Team Spirit do have a decent chunk of it, but given that there are only just 3 from their earlier engagement, might be a bit more tricky for them to hold on to it out on the west side. The question is anyone actually going to challenge them? Is Asia Mix going to push north up towards them? Is anyone from this northwestern side going to do anything right now? Because Star, Brothers in Arms, and 88 Academy have all been just biding their time over towards Picardo.
Yeah, the western side of the map is actually quite difficult to deal with for a lot of teams because there's so much open space around here that you can't fit so many squads in that position on the map. So for Team Spirit right now, it's a case of just getting a lot of information gathering done. Star is taking a knock here. That's between 88 Academy and themselves. So they spotted out quite a few players from Far Voice, but now taking their individual fight with 88 Academy, who love to play on the edge and sometimes play on the edge too long, I'd say, John.
A lot of nades going off. I think that might be over on the northwest side. Yes, it is indeed. 88 Academy trying to find an opening towards the Brothers in Arms. They have got all 4 players alive. 2 players up on the high ground. You can see they're out in the blue zone. Silence got rezzed. Another nade for Ragnar. Won't catch anything there. Silence gets a heal off as well. Off-angle shots coming on through. Who's that from? Goodness me. It's getting lit up, and it's coming from Shockwave, who are moved in from the eastern side. And that makes things really tricky for 88 Academy, and, to be fair, for everybody else as well.
For 88 Academy, all these teams, Shockwave, 88 Academy, as well as Brothers in Arms, they need to move. They need to move quickly. I like where Star has actually headed to as well, which is that ridge side I was talking about earlier that sits over the big old crater. This gives you a very defensible position to be playing. A lot of teams still just hovering around Los Leones, wondering whether we're going to get a hard shift down towards that southeast side. The circle is taking a while to come in here. Teams try and conclude as many of their engagements as possible before getting into the zone itself.
Ooh, this is interesting. Look at where Dagestan have moved. They moved off that high ground quickly into a very central area. They had that high ground plateau that we saw to the east of Eagles, and now they've moved out to the northwest point of Los Leones. There's like a little track and a ridge line that sits there that they are looking to play on. See if they can keep control going on. The fact that they are so central, I mean, it's typical of Dagestan. They kind of... It's like they're doing what 1715 like to do, but they're doing it much more effectively, and they're picking the right compound, right? It's the same kind of style, but it's much more effective in the hands of Dagestan.
Yeah, they're very quick on their rotator and very smart with the way they take them. I think in terms of just holding down angles as well, this is a team that does that phenomenally inside of this lobby, which is what you need to see in the long run like this. You need to be able to cover each other's backs. And these guys have played together quite a few times before. Obley's getting switched out a few times for Magnum here, so they're just testing out a new player a little bit on the team.
I've got a bit of a lead.
Come in and out.
they can afford maybe to drop a point or two here and there with a little bit of new player situation, and that's something that we did talk about for Team Spirit as well. Of course, we just keep talking about Team Spirit, is the fact that Matic is now back in with Kitsune joining Nomi in effect. But that new player synergy, if anything, playing in this qualifier is probably really good for them to be able to develop that synergy for their hopes towards the PMSL, right? You don't really want to be going straight into the PMSL looking as fresh as a new player might make you feel, but they'll have that chance to practice it out all here. The shift, though, over to the east side.
Yeah, it's a real big crash course, right? A Academy come up towards the back end here of Team Spirit, but they need to move further in. There's really not a lot of spots to be playing. Team Spirit were stopping off a little bit, but I think they realised that they can move over towards where Nomi's playing. Much better ridge side to gatekeep A8 Academy. Very smart play there from Nomi to pick up that position. It is a 3v4 though, so this will be a difficult fight. In the meantime, Star taking massive damage through from Blue Team DX. What is Semtana doing? Just stood out in the open there.
Is going to go down, unfortunately. Blue Tiam, they have got 4 players alive, but 2 knocks, and a descent comes through from Team Spirit. I think that's backup. Is that, yeah, that's Team maybe coming in from the south side, or is that Dagestan? I'm not entirely sure. Team Spirit, though, they want to pick up the pieces of this fight. They are moving through these buildings fast. Can these reses come through in time? Nomi with the bump action, can't find the first. Kitsune, again, saves the day on the engagement. Can he hold down his teammate? Because it looks like Blue Tiam might want to take dynamism, might take action here. And Shockwave come in from this northern side. Dagestan are pushing in. They've moved Shifu up to get a little peek through these windows.
Yeah, it's a smart play from Team Spirit, but I just don't think they have the manpower to hold on to this. The thing that they really should think about doing right now is kind of just allowing Blue Team DX to live here. They need some kind of guard against other teams that might want to cross into them. As soon as the fight slowed down, though, they are re-engaging because Dagestan just left.
Go on. Ooh, I thought that was going to tag onto Morris. I think they're just a little bit safer for now. They know the angles. Grenade in. Oh, can't get a land, but that's going to take the explosion. I think there was a vehicle going up, and Kitsune gets the point nonetheless. 2 players remaining. The bombardment continues. The Molotovs, the utility usage. They are throwing it all at the wall. It seems like the kitchen sink has stuck.
Yeah, I mean, this is playable space, right? And I think they understand that they need to get rid of these players as soon as possible. Other teams will have heard this. They'll be coming in soon. You can see Shockwave down the hill. Still don't think he's close. I mean, they've naded that out so many times. He must be on the close wall now.
Hopefully they figured it out. Morris is ready, though. Ready to take that opportunity. Still yet to be cleared, but with the smoke starting to clear, Team Spirit aren't going to push this angle either. I don't think he's going to have too many opportunities. That nade, though, in through the window. I'll let him know now. Kitsune wants the challenge, goes in for half a spray. Is he going to get flushed as well? Because Morris is going to turn the corner, take Kitsune down. That is devastation. Nomi is there, but Kitsune losing his life in that scenario, that's why you need to clear that close angle. It was bold to go for the peak on a wide shot, potential for Shockwave to third party it, and Kitsune bites the dust.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there. I mean, the amount of times they cleared the long angle, I think at least one of them should send a grenade onto the close angle, especially after they flushed the guy. They should have assumed that the res was coming through from that area, and look how good of a position this would have been if they were at 3. Either way, 9 elims on the match. They have not done badly at all again, and they are just racking up points. I mean, they're 40 points almost ahead of S-Eagles right now, which sits them clear at least 2 decent matches, which gives them a very good buffer from 3rd place.
That's what you want to see. You want to just keep that acceleration going. And again, this is a good match. We always talk about that first place position. If you're getting up over 10 points, you are in contest. 10 points average per match, that is. You are in contest for that first place spot. And with 2 more points, Team Spirit would be slap bang on 140 points, which at the end of this match would be a 10-point average. So it would be great to see them back up there on top of the pack top of the pile, but Dagestan, they've been quiet so far. They've had a good rotation, taking position up from the north side of Los Leones, descending when the circle moved away from them, and now they've been afforded a cheeky little building on the high ground that overlooks 88 Academy, who are going to have to push north from Los Leones.
Yeah, I think Dagestan made that initial move over towards that north side, then realised that, look, this actual position they've got on the south side is just far stronger, so it's not really worth making the full cross. Someone potentially comes from the south side and steals this position. With the amount of teams that were playing around Los Leones on the outer skirts of the city and want to fully invest, then yeah, this was a position that could have been easily taken over by some other squads. All right, down to 10 now, but 36 players. There is really quite a lot of battered and bruised teams here.
Starting to shed the weight a little bit. Over on the northeast side, Big Baby, One for All, Strangers as well. Now a bit of a kerfuffle going on. Into the concretes they go, One for All rolling up to Big Baby's position. They've been in here for quite a while. Nades going back and forth. Strangers are at the back of this fight, remember, as well, which really forces Big Baby to hold strong in this phase. They can't really give ground. They can't play soft. And Smarty, he just, okay, he peeks the corner, just lobs a Molotov right in his face, and somehow doesn't go down. Does get sprayed out, though, in the meantime. I think that point is stolen. Yeah, it's taken away by the Eagles on a third-party angle.
Flavius with a nade, trying to angle it up well. Again, this felt like a weird fight for One for All to take versus Big Baby. They've not done any scouting available over towards Strangers. And if Strangers wasn't so magnetized towards these grenades, potentially they could have had a third party off the back of this.
I'm not sure how King was able to find that knock, but he does it nonetheless. And the rest does come through for Strangers, so they are still playing as 4, but again, this is what I'm talking about, that third-party backstop for not only One for All, but now from Eagles as well. Big Baby are fighting for their lives, but right now they are surviving. They have the inside, and that is, in this scenario, a massive advantage.
Yeah, putting One for All on the outside opens up to so many angles from around the map. Sightlines are there for them. Next circle, popping very soon as One for All tries to make the speedy getaway. They realise that it's a little bit too late for that, though, as Big Baby immediately pops out. Gets the double flush. Not Shockwave, actually, taking his side angle.
This position feels completely cursed. It's just not gone well for anybody who's gone close to it, right? Over on this northeastern side, Big Baby went there first, and actually, to be fair, I take that back. It's gone very well for Big Baby. Everybody else has just been kind of fighting around them, and they've just been sat there like, we're chilling right now, and now they're going for a roll-up, though. They want to evacuate, and they're going straight on towards the back line of Strangers, and will spray 1 for 1 right now. 2 players down for Big Baby, but they find that second knock. A huge nade from the overarm comes through for the Strangers to keep them alive for now. The reses will need to come through. Shockwave continue to pepper, but that was a massive nade from Monkey.
Yeah, Monkey lines up the nade of a lifetime there. That was incredible to watch. Right over the top of the wall as well. So the pings must have come out and he's guesstimated it, but that was fantastic. Completely shuts down Big Baby. Again, they did come in on a weird angle. I think crashing the side of the concrete might have been better than playing off the back of that. Playing as a death ball does open you up to insane nades like that coming through. So for all the mistakes the Strangers made there, having a real rough and tumble with the nades coming their way ends up being a nade that saves their entire lives.
Sprays out to the open. Can't really nade against that. This is a shooting gallery for the Eagles right now. Monkey will go down, but I think that buggy explodes. I'm not entirely sure if it's gone up yet. They keep going led down range. The smokes have bloomed, and finally some shots answered. I think that came from Alicio, or potentially even Shockwave further across the way. As Kaya does finally lead out to the Eagles from the high ground, the south side from Kanina Power there.
Yeah, they have a very strong spot on this high ground. It's coming down from it's going to be a difficulty, which is why they're putting so much stock in taking out the teams that surround them. They know that when this next circle hits and they have to leave, they're going to have a lot of shots coming their way. Hey, Academy versus Dagestan. If they're allowed to get into the compound, good nade over the top, though, does a hefty amount of damage.
Dagestan yet to rack up an elimination point, but they do put the first on the board with Shifu. Pin back in as Zadira scarpers up the staircase. 8-8 Academy now into the ground floor. 3 players alive. Tokyo has been taken down, and an 8 in nearly finds another. Not going to be so lucky, though, this time around. And there's the nade onto Zadira. He's down and out. Magnum tries to nade in through the window again, but Peachy dodges it once more. On the upstairs, there's one. Magnum on the outskirts. Where's that third player? Shifu outside of the building, outside of it all, trying to stay above it, but it's not going to work out. Asia Mix flexing out towards this as well. Potential third party.
That's a good nade. That should be a knock. And it is onto Rodri from Obley. Very nice. And Shifu gets the Molotov to start this one off, and the nade on top of it. Very, very well. Big comeback there, actually, from Dagestan, I would say. I mean, that looked like it was going extremely badly for Dagestan, but some good utility usage sort of saves them in that situation. But Asia Mix is having a peek over, but they didn't want to fully commit onto that. I think they could have maybe gone for a third party there. Next Circle comes in, and he does still keep that high ground in for S Eagles. Dear me, they might have just got a bit of a blessing here.
May have done. I mean, yeah, the edge of that plateau will still be in for them. The question is, who's going to find cover against it successfully to be able to hold them out on their descent, right? Because their leaving of that plateau is going to be hyper challenged. If they can get rid of Kanina Power, that south fall down is probably one of their safer ways out. So getting rid of Kanina Power right now for the Eagles, certainly for my money, is high priority.
I mean, they're just going to let them stay up there. I mean, try and challenge them at this point. They are sort of being the guard dogs for them. Kaya did go down, so it was a 3v4, bit difficult. Next Circle will certainly shift away from them, though. I think this Circle does kind of annihilate a lot of teams' positioning. Wow, okay. Sean to Rolex. Not expect that. They're actually pushing it.
All right.
Interesting.
Okay. They are going to go for it. Kanina Power up and into the fight, and looks like you're right. They have got a good opening here. Perks on the backline getting some healing done. Zero into the building. Devil facing off. Eslam peeking out wide there on the rooftop, trying to get a little bit cheeky with it. Is there a third party? I don't think so. The high ground's there. Perks nearly gets naded by his own teammate, but not this time around. Eslam doesn't catch anything with the nade. Wants to drop off the rooftop. Wow. This is straight into the DBS. Goes immediately down, and Kanina Power are rolling straight through the Eagles up top here. Devil has nothing to do about that door frame, and that is a really huge power coming through from Kanina. 2 players now upstairs, their last hurdle.
Good to speak. Also, in the meantime, Team Spirit as a duo completely annihilate Shockwave. They took so many shots over towards them as they crossed over that roadside and were able to get rid of them, who were one of their biggest threats, actually. So kind of a big play. For Kanina Power, though, this was a bold move that has worked out quite well.
Rolex strafes on in and cannot catch it. Zero. He's just been ready for these with the DBS. I think that's the second time someone's just jumped off the roof and he's gone like, oh, thank you very much. OMG.
He naded him.
Outside.
I think he almost naded himself, but managed to get most of the damage on Rolex. Yeah, OMG certainly is going down here.
Strangers got it.
I mean, fair play. Strangers have been taking a lot of shots from S Eagles on a little bit of revengeance themselves. I'm surprised Team Spirit's still in the game. I mean, that was a great spray down from Nomi. I wish we had a replay of that.
Team Spirit will have Strangers to deal with now. Dagestan continue to clash. But this time with Kanina Power from the high ground. Only one team with 4 players alive at this point, and that's the Strangers on the north edge. Team Spirit find a player. If Kanina Power find a player, all of a sudden, a duo win doesn't seem too far-fetched for Team Spirit.
I mean, there's a couple of 4-man... There was a 1 4-man team and 2 3-man teams. I mean, Team Spirit need a big opening over towards Strangers so they can play this northern edge, but Strangers keep backing off on this. And I just don't know how many more nades Team Spirit has. Again, as 2 players, there's only so much utility you can carry and only so much you can throw at once.
Shots over towards Asia Mix, and the south flank of Team Spirit did just get a lot easier. Nomi, is he trying to pick up these points? I think he might have been able to steal 1 or 2, but no. 6 now eliminations found there, and Kame goes down. Team Spirit racking up more and more. Magnum wants to put a nade up high. A nade over from Strangers as well as Matic has 4 players to deal with, but the Strangers divert. They're allowing these off angles to be played on the western side, and the Strangers want to take the fight with Kanina Power and towards Dagestan as well.
Yeah, this is getting very scrappy at the moment. I'm not sure what Nomi was doing. He was driving out in the blue and does go down. Impossible to res him back up again. Bit of a deny. Dagestan, 2 players. Good shots over towards the guys on Strangers. Either way, Team Spirit's been able to rack up a lot of eliminations, just being able to catch off some of these knocks that are coming from afar. But Dusty tries to take down Shifu, can't quite do it. He's extremely low, and there's no response from Kanina Power just yet until Zero's in on him.
Another shot for Magnum to find Perks and takes down another. Strangers still on 3. They need to start flexing out the spray down as he tries to roll up, and Matic is the one to take it. And it finds the flush as well. Another point added. Dagestan losing players, and Kanina Power keep going. Zero has more in the tank. And all of a sudden, Dagestan are down. Strangers are on 2. And it's a 1v2v1.
Magnum actually got taken out by Matic. Brett steps up.
Oh, no.
There's a knock. Now it's possible.
And it's a 1 versus 1. Matic moving on in. Does not have the inside tracker. Res is possible here. I don't think he has any nades, but he needs to get around this headland. Tree is pushed into the fight. They're forcing to take this engagement. There's no choice here. They just need to step up. The headland's there. Matic goes 1 for 1 on the trade with the bullets. Gets to the tree. Has a bit of cover. Can he get close enough? Will step and again just zigzagging around. Tree can't find it. Needs to reload. The DBS is there for both of them. And it's from the top rope. It's Tree with Strangers just about able to squeak away the chicken dinner, but I thought we were going to have some magic. It was still miraculous for Team Spirit, but it didn't quite go the distance. It's the Strangers this time.
Yeah, I mean, the Strangers have had a game there, but I think for Team Spirit, there was so many eliminations they were able to pick up. Again, playing as 2 for the longest time. Nomi and Matic make for a hell of a combo. 20 points and 14 eliminations off the back of that last Erangel as well. What a good couple of matches for Team Spirit. I will say one thing, though, and I think it's a very important thing to bring up, is that Matic looks like he's enjoying himself. I think that the way we've seen Matic play in the past, it's felt like he's been a little bit held back, a little bit reserved, but he looks like he's having a lot of fun here in this qualifier, and I think that's really important for Matic, because playing on Gladiators, obviously they've really suffered when they lost Kitsune and just did not do all that well at all. Now he's playing on a team where, you know, again, they are picking up star players from all across the region, and he looks great on the team. And again, it looks fun for him, and I'm so happy. I'm so pleased with Matic.
This tournament is a lot of fun, and because it's so fun, we do need to take a couple of minutes to calm down before we get into another Erangel. We'll see you in a few. right? They decided to push up towards that fight on the southeast side rather than let it conclude. Maybe they wanted a couple more elimination points, but nobody from that east side could really do anything else at that stage. And in fact, in the end, it technically worked out for them, right?
Yeah, it's a difficult one in the sense that with that circle ending, you can't really play the center all that well. You have to isolate your fights on the side, which worked in the favor of Team Spirit in particular, as well as Dagestan, because they were able to isolate a lot of their engagements. I will say that Magnum did a fantastic job in the center, even though he got taken out later on by Matic. He still had a great position to play where he controlled a lot of space for a lot of the game. And with that, Team Spirit on top now, 149 points, with Dagestan at 144. And it feels like going into the end of day 3, this could be very difficult to catch up both of these teams tomorrow if they put up a sizable lead.
Yeah, a 40-point difference over 6 matches is pretty difficult to jump up. I think that's over 6 points average per match. Yeah, 36-point difference would be a 6-point average per match, so you need to be really chasing hard.
Yeah, and I think that there was a world where Team Spirit wins that game as well if Nomi didn't knock himself out in the blue. I'm assuming that he was trying to get away from some gunfire, and he just went out into blue for a little bit too long and misjudged it. But if that was the case, it was a 2v1 there. I think that 9 times out of 10, Team Spirit wins that engagement versus Strangers. Second page, we head down. Canadian Power does get themselves a good match here, or at least a decent match here on Miramar. It is what they're good at. It's the only map that they're good at, really, right now. And Asia Mix there in 10th place, who do consistently get towards the end of the games, but feels like they're getting outclassed more often than not now in our matches.
I mean, they've got 49 elimination points, right, but only 18 placements. They're kind of like a 6th place team, right? And that really doesn't net you so much in the way of placement points. 6th, 7th, that sort of bracket, which is unfortunate for them, but they have had some real standout fight performances. They were getting really scrappy with it previously, clawing into other teams' fights and things like that, and capitalizing off fortunate timing, but those opportunities not necessarily presented themselves every match. You kind of need to forge your own path here, especially if you want to be a top 2 team, because at the moment it's a very clear boundary from that 2nd place down.
Yeah, it is. I think it's getting worse and worse as time goes on. And I think that for teams that are trying to chase up towards that top 2 position, it's getting a little bit out of hand. And I think the Team Spirit and Dagestan, again, they both have a lot of momentum coming through from yesterday and also the beginning of today. So I think it's going to be quite difficult for them to stop performing at this level. But I'm interested to see if any team can try and challenge them towards those top 2 positions. But in my mind, we kind of already are securing our top 2 at this point.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way at this stage. I mean, there's potential, of course, there always is. But if Dagestan and Team Spirit have one more good game today each, then it's basically done for, right? And they've still got quite a lot of opportunities to do that. They've got 4 matches left to play today, and a lot of chances to put their own numbers up on the board. But in Sandhawk, the big question is, are Asia Mix going to get back into the mixer with Team Spirit over at Bootcamp? Yesterday, we saw Team Spirit win it out entirely in a clean 4-0 in terms of the player deaths there. So are they going to try and go there? Or, as I've been informed by Maxman, their coach, was telling them before, they should just go for that trifecta drop, right? But they decided to ignore that advice and take on Team Spirit in Bootcamp.
Yeah, which is not ideal, right? It's not ideal, and I think that he's doing them more hurt than good. Again, they are a heavy elim team. That's what they're good at. That's what they seem to perform well doing. And again, that leads into them playing in boot camp versus Team Spirit. They're getting experience against one of the best teams in the world. So I don't know, man. We'll see if they continue going there. Trifecta might be a better position to try and pick up.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more open as well. I don't think we've had anyone who's really dropping that at the moment, not for the time being anyway. I have to see if there's any conflict there. We're heading into the match over Sandhawk, the plane path from Camp Alpha over to Lukawi. At the moment, it looks like Eagles are dropping in with 3 players. We'll see who's being left out of the running there. But they, in 3rd place, this is not the time to be playing with 3.
No, this is going to really cause you some big problems going into the future, playing with 3 players at this stage of the game, right? You do not want that to be the case. So for 3 players, Eagles can't imagine them having the best of matches here.
No, it's going to be pretty tricky. Getting close to an outpost for Kanina Power. Actually, they have got the majority of the angles around that one player from Kanina Power if they want to drop around it. No, okay, they're going further. They're going down towards Camp Charlie. Kanina Power fall a little bit shorter. There's Asia Mix. They're on that trifecta split. There we go. They are going to revert back to the sage advice of Neptura, who was, I believe, was the coach before this event came in. And they will, wiser minds will prevail. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, after getting 4-0'd yesterday, on what felt like a little bit of an embarrassing fight where they all just sat still for ages, sort of waiting for Team Spirit to come to them, and Team Spirit just never gave them the satisfaction. You can kind of understand them moving away from it. I didn't expect it, so respect that they do end up moving after all, but this will give Team Spirit a much easier game. And with a central position like that in boot camp, they are so happy with this.
Yeah, this is a perfect scenario for Team Spirit. They like having players out on those outpost positions, stop any flanks coming on through. Really nice setup for them. And it's the first time we're going to see them actually try to be able to establish it, right? So it'll be interesting to see what they can do here. Dagestan up towards the North Bridge near Hatin. They're watching the far side. Shifu waiting for a teammate to... Whoa, smash cut to a different spray down. Effect finds... one of Asia Mix, and that is a brilliant pick-off to open up their south position.
Yeah, and this is typically what they do in most of their games, is where they will try and assault over towards trifecta, because that's typically a rotation they'll make later on in the game. And they saw that they were given free reign. They quickly just head on down, and to be honest with you, you've angered the beast at this point, so the Team Spirit's going to bite back a little bit, and Asia Mix lose a player right off the bat. Yeah, not ideal for Asia Mix, but very ideal for Team Spirit. Again, this might have been a decision not to drop in boot camp purely off the way that currently Team Spirit is playing, right? They are super warm coming into today, and likely a hot drop would not go in the favour of Asia Mix, who haven't had the greatest games and maybe aren't feeling as on point as Team Spirit are.
Shifu continuing his barrage. Doesn't have any meds though. He's sacrificed a little bit of looting time in order to get this knock across the way. With 88 Academy so close to the north side of Dagestan as well, this crossing on the north is actually pretty deadly right now. The res can come through on the far side for Blue Tiam. And they should just be up as 4, so they'll definitely be worried. The question is, do you want to go across this north bridge? Do you want to try and swim around the headland potentially if you want to get to that mainland island?
Yeah, I think for a lot of teams, it's usually just a quick flick over the northeast bridge, right? Blue Tiam DX, though, likely not going to be leaving this position for a while, considering they have full control over the bridge. It is difficult now for teams like Far Voice, Dagestan, 88 Academy. You have to wait this game out a bit for the next circle, Zone 2, which will be coming through fairly shortly. In comes Brothers in Arms against Kanina Power.
Okay. Perks cannot connect with the DBS to the rear panel of the rotating vehicle, but I see trying to do a little bit better. But Brothers in Arms right now, they've taken a lot of damage to Silence, but I believe he's still alive. And there he finally does get knocked, but Badusi nades have gone in, and there's backup from the backlines holding the rock pretty decently right now, and there's a burnout. Oh dear, it's a team burn, and the Molotov catches his teammate, unfortunately. Nade goes long, but it still catches the damage, but what are you doing? You're running into the fire at this point.
Yeah, Kaya is able to pick up a very easy elim on that, but has to pick up quite a few of his squad mates right now, so a bit of resurrection duty on hand for Kaya on Kanina Power. Perks is very resable though, as Woodson makes his way up the hillside.
Shots coming coming through. That's Zero. The back line will find a flush over towards one of the... No, that was another knock onto the Brothers in Arms. No, it was the flush. I'll take that back. They're now down to 3 with the 1 player alive. And as soon as those reses on the front come through for Kanina Power, you can bet those smokes, those nades will start to pour on in. And Brothers in Arms are really starting to fall apart now.
Brothers in Arms struggling. Kaya immediately with a nade. Knows roughly where they are. Has the information passed back to him. So that's a good nade. Should re-knock Carry Boy.
Woodson playing closer on the tree. Can hit a huge one here. Goes not quite as big as he needed to, though. And Perks now hopping in, hopping out. Brothers in Arms. They do not know what's hit him. Silence now, the last to go. He lays down, accepts his fate. And it is the Brothers in Arms to fall. Kanina Power, they're trying to shirk the notoriety that they've got for being a Miramar-only team. They roll in for 4 on the sandbox.
Yeah, it looked pretty messy, though, to be fair, for them. At the beginning, not being able to spray down the vehicle that Carry Boy was wandering around in. Decent nades in, forces Keme out of position, but again, Asian Mix are not a team to be taken lightly in terms of the pressure. Good hop down to the ground, but not quite quick enough on the re-peak.
Unfortunate. Star Esports will be able to pick themselves up to 3. Team Spirit on that high ground. Teams are really starting to gather around this trifecta position. If Asian Mix have been able to hold it a little bit stronger, they'll have a great time of things, but they're down now. Can't do anything about it. Team Spirit, they've taken a knock. Nomi is down. You can see they are pushing out northwest to get back. Matic wants to bring themselves up to 4 again. Effect misses the roof grab. But the knock over onto 17-15 is going to slow any aggression that they might have felt otherwise.
Yeah, just try and throw another molly over the top to keep up that pressure. 17-15 giving up the high ground almost immediately. And our next circle's coming in soon. Very central positioned in terms of the teams here. Everyone's fairly happy in their spot right now. S-Eagles are staying out of the way. Downside with Big Baby.
Just waiting on that next circle, really. And it goes over to the mainland. I mean, this isn't too dramatic, but the fact that teams have all really heavily gathered around that trifecta is going to make this pretty tricky. All of those teams on the west side are going to have a tough time. I'm interested in what Dagestan are going to be able to do from here, right? They have got kind of the bum end of the deal at this stage. They've got to fight through absolutely everybody. They've got to get through so much, and they don't really have too many avenues to go for a wide over-rotate. They could potentially go down south, but that's kind of guarded off. Nobody's playing over towards that quarry side. So there is a lot of space there, but everyone's packed in right ahead of Dagestan.
Yeah, this is slowing Team Spirit down. They keep taking little knocks here and there from across the map, but they should be able to follow 17-15 towards that central compound and know that it's a 3-man squad there, and crashing that could be a possibility. They could also pick up the compound that's on the side of Quarry. That's not a bad position. It is a little further outside the circle, but on the chance that it does move over towards Quarry, it's a really good spot to play.
Star Esports sharing this compound right now. And not really getting engaged super quickly. They are all just allowing Dagestan to make these moves, though. This is great news for Dagestan. With the blue zone putting pressure on them, they need to make something happen. 88 Academy as well. They're trying to move on in, but finally, a Molotov in. The 4 position, 4-star Esports catches him on the spread. Oh no, he can't get out the door. Oh, that's disaster for Minotox. It's Far Voice Gaming. Do take a knock to a little bit of a misplay there. The burn comes in and gets that flush as well.
The Star's playing this really slow versus Far Voice. They just want to get stuck into the action, but Star not allowing them to get too far forward here. Just play it really carefully, cautiously. There's a lot of angles that can be played around Trifecta. What a spray down. Not sure who that's from.
That's Team Spirit.
Yeah, they drop a molly as well. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Everything about this has just been a bit mucky. Team Spirit are really happy to take these shots. Look at the amount of oversight they have. This is Nomi's angle. Effect is the one to get the massive spray down onto Star Esports. Yeah, this is really tough. really tough to deal with for both of these two teams. In the meantime, 8-8 Academy have moved all the way down to Sami. Dagestan are currently split around Ruins and have yet to make their move across the river.
Now, taking their time with it. Shockwave also in Cave, or at least on the top side of Cave right now. You got Blue Team DX 1715 and Kanina Power all battling out for this central position with S-Eagles trotting slowly behind Kanina Power.
They're so close, but nothing's happening. Luna trying to get any information. I think they know he's on this corner, but no nades, no helmet for Luna as well. This is...
Well, Default's getting back.
Pretty
obviously a res. I mean, Farvoice have played super slow, so the res is possible.
You can see he's like, I'm not turning around. Are you kidding? Default's going to go like, okay, I'll crawl in front of you then. He needs to stick this res now. I mean, you can see the health bar is nearly done.
You had to put a little bit of pressure on there. I can understand why he's like, he doesn't want them to be just sat still for too long, so they think that he is going for the res. So if he peeks out a little bit, gives him that sense that he is still in play.
I feels like this is what should have happened a long time ago between these two teams, right? Farvoice, they could have put Einaus out wide a lot earlier, done exactly that, just like 30 seconds before, and only had one player to deal with. But they handle it in the end. A little bit slow, kind of antithetical to what we've seen from Farvoice Gaming so far today, but they get it done nonetheless.
He's at the top from One For All towards Getso. A lot of shots coming through from all over the place. And a quick rundown from Avito. Don't think he was expecting that one at all.
Oh.
We'll confirm it as well with the bumper.
Crunches him, paints the rock with him. And now One For All are down to 3. Getso getting back up as well. They're all 4. Northeast side have to shimmy a little bit further on. 17-15 again in a really great compound. That trade-off for the junction compound will be really, really huge. Potential for another team to take the northeast side of it, given that 17-15 are playing as 3. Blue Tiam with 2 players are in the compound that's up the road north of this central area, and those two generally very, very secure for a long time. It's those final circles that really make you fight for it from those areas. Team Spirit successfully clearing out a lot of the west side.
I think the difficulty with playing that central compound for 17-15 is literally they're playing with 3, right? It's a compound where you sort of need the 2-2 split going on before you coalesce into one side later on, but you need all the angles. You need to have sight lines over towards that northeast side, because it seemed like Getso could easily just crash into that compound on the backside, and 17-15 wouldn't have any recourse other than to try and get some nades through the windows. And again, Team Spirit just looking to clear more out of this western side. They get shots over towards Farvoice again, cut someone off on the backside, and Einaus is down.
Yeah, it's the full flush going on through. You don't pick that back up. Farvoice Gaming, they're going to try and cross through Painan, but Dagestan have made that position theirs. And getting across has gone well for them. Team Spirit, the south shift from boot camp. This is what we wanted on Sandhawks from Team Spirit for so long. We're finally being delivered it. They clear out Asia Mix. They clear out teams trying to push in from the west side. Now with the next circle, we'll see if it favors them or if they're going to have to get on the bike. That's pretty good for them.
Yeah, they still have the high ground to work with. So this is basically the perfect boot camp circle, and it's the first game where Asia Mix don't drop on top of them. So for Team Spirit, this is just a very, very good game to have both of those things come together at the same time. And on this western side of the map, you have a lot of pressure, a lot of control that you can have from this area of the map. They're still looking to clear out anyone who's going for wide wraps, maybe down from that south side, like Dagestan, who are going to try and go for that right now. So smart that they're keeping tabs on all this.
Big Baby just loading up on the meds. I think he was just about able to get the bandage off for Arabelle. No? Okay.
Bye.
This is stage 4. I don't think you can get that res either. Interesting. Very interesting. I think I saw him hop into the vehicle as well in the middle of that heal. But either way, One For All, Blue Tiam, they're fighting for this compound, and Blue Tiam are doing pretty well, but King underneath the stilts there has the DBS. Will take control of it. This is a really important compound, remember, and the fact that there's a 1 versus 1 going on for it means that it's open and ripe for the taking. Should a team want to crash on in, that's potentially Getso, maybe strangers beyond that.
King underneath. They're looking for the res here. Gossiar consistently keeping the pressure up. Nice swing peaks as well. And now we'll go for the res. I think Gossiar is pretty scared right now.
Ooh, that is pretty nasty. A full blind and didn't...
Oh, no.
Didn't connect fully. That is so unfortunate. It was a perfect stunner. But now Kings are running out into the open and 8-8 Academy have turned up. That's going to be it.
Nate comes through the window. Oh. I think that's death, yeah.
Okay. Scene.
A lot of teams trying to get their way down towards this compound that 17-15's in, but all getting caught up in the crossfire as they head on over. Shockwave versus Kanina Power, and they are pincer between them and Big Baby. Rundown comes through onto Pudussi, and I think Kanina Power's days are numbered as Perks goes for the most insane push onto 17-15's compound.
They've got 2 players in that one. He's going for the crashes, the DBS out the window. He's spinning his team out. This is chaos for Shockwave, and they love it. Wagner Zada, sorry, that's GG Zada, with launching those nades over towards the front. Big Baby yet to find an answering knock, but finally Wagner Zada goes down, and Jakey as well around the tree. 2 players playing on in, but now just overlaid and Baban at the back line to try and keep it together. GG Zada down, Jakey down, Wagner Zada was out as well, and it's a 1 versus 2 all of a sudden.
Goodness me, this all popped off very quickly. Down towards that south side, even Team Spirit taking shots over towards Big Baby, confirming some of these elims. 1-2 for nade over the top, but takedown overlaid. It's a little bit too short.
Crawling back, just want to get both of their players up and standing. I mean, that's fair enough. Shockwave do have a chance to try and jump up. It will be a real tough task to do so, but anything can happen, and they've already managed to get 4 eliminations this match, so adding their tally, keeping their pace up is going to be great. But Dagestan are still in, and so are Team Spirit, both of them on 4 players.
It could be a hell of an ending here for us. Third match of the day. Strangers versus Getso. I think it is just the 1 player from Strangers who does get taken down by Noglan. In comes Shockwave, 2 players directly onto this compound. 17-15's not done too badly at all as just the 3, but as soon as one of these outposts gets taken down, it's going to get all that much harder. Gentle, great opener for 17-15.
They are lucky that it was only 2 players rolling up to them, because that could have been the end for Gentle. But instead it was the end for, well, Big Baby as well. Wando is still there on the crash. Sat in the vehicle, potentially... No, they know. Okay.
Oh, dear me.
I love it so much.
Directly onto the lap in the seat of the vehicle. Tries to open the door, but the only thing he'll be opening the door to is the lobby. He heads back for the next game, ready on a wrangle. Dagestan here, opt not to head up north side. They got rattled by Team Spirit.
Yeah, they did take a knock, but managed to get it back up. Now they'll try and take on Eslam. Eagles have just disappeared so far today. Obviously, they dropped in this one with 3, so it's been tougher for them than before, but they're not the same team. It doesn't seem like they've got the mojo. Team Spirit, on the other hand, they've stolen the mojo. They've got it all for themselves, and right now, they're dancing up the storm.
Back over towards this west side is crazy to me. And this gives Team Spirit so much advantage on this game. They still have a compound to work with. Their issue is the pincer, right? Between Getso and Dagestan. I think they're all returning back towards this compound so they can play versus Dagestan. They saw them earlier, and they know Dagestan's got to creep up this way. Kitsune's got a great angle on the top of this roof. Going to be looking directly down on the guys from Dagestan.
Ooh, not much you can do there, but there is an answer. Nomi does take 1 and 2, so Shifu and Magnum both going down. Yeah, this is great stuff from Team Spirit. I mean, there's very little that you can do. There's Dagestan, right? Shifu does not get rest here. Another shot from Nomi. Taking these points out as well is absolutely huge. against Dagestan, their main rival at this stage. This is a statement. They didn't finish in those top spots early on, but this time around, they want more. Get Solo, going to give him a run for it as Effect goes down on the front. Matic breaks out wide and evades that for now. That Molotov is going to go past the tree. Could potentially, should just confirm that elimination. No, Effect is crawling away from it already.
He's heading back down. He's got a good idea where the sightlines are, and the smoke should come through.
Big nade
to Effect. Oh,
okay, it's wide.
It's a bit too far. Effect will get back to Kitsune. That is incredible that he made the journey. Oh, I think he might have just got res.
They tagged it.
Wow.
Wow, that is kind of crazy. But Getso have got a massive amount of this circle. Even with this res, it's going to be tough for Team Spirit to get out unless the teams or the ragtag bunch of reprobates on the eastern side. Let's go with reprobates. It's a bit mean, but I like it.
It's very mean.
It is. But they have I think it's fair in this instance. On the eastern side, if they start to chime in towards Getso, Team Spirit might have a better chance, but they haven't really found an opening towards Getso. They just need to win these gunfights. It's not going to go well for Nomi, though.
Need one knock. That's basically what they need, because they just need time to get across to the south side. Islam's actually taking shots. I think he might have been able to steal away that elimination. Effect just gets back behind the tree. This is a very tough fight for Team Spirit up the hill, and Getso's done a good job here. I mean, they took their opportunity as soon as they saw them retreating down towards Dagestan. But Matic's up close and personal. It's a lot of damage in. Just stops the pre-fire when it would have done a huge amount of work.
Ooh, Effect nearly had the side swipe on it, but Matic is still there. He's still going. The DPS, Ked is low. There's one player at the back lines. Kitsune is still there as an anchor at the back as well. The Eagle comes through. So two players on decent HP, but Ked has his shredded. A nade up high from 88 Academy. Maybe stealing some points away here, but there's one player from Getso. The DPS over the top, but now they've got the rest of it to worry about. The points all go into the Team Spirit coffers, though. 13 eliminations. Can 88 Academy steal it all away?
The thing is, they're on the edge of the blue right now, and it's just the edge. So they have this rock to res behind, so that little bit of cover is awesome. They'll get a refresh on the nades, as well as the utility and the ammo. This is awesome for Team Spirit. What a game from them. It's been so different. Again, like I said, Matic just looks like he's having fun in these matches. He's come to play, and that's certainly what he's doing.
Team Spirit now back up to 3. They've stabilized. They are the dominant force in this lobby. Eslam finds Tornado, brings it to 3 teams alive now. Steps up, Matic down for Rodri. Do not have the trade just yet. Need to be careful, gets the flush quickly. This is dangerous now. Eslam out in the wings, Rodri goes down. Now 1 versus 2. With a good nade in the right place, this could all change, but he's only got 2 shots at it.
Yeah, I mean, they are grouping a little bit there, which is not great, and they get a tag on, so he has information. Question is where you wrap, and I think that's the right call to swing away from one another. Smart from Team Spirit, and that was the last nade. So now they just need to play this out smartly.
Just need to trade. Oh, both of those nades gone. Kitsune trying to bait the shots. Effect ready to deal the death blow. Eslam, you might be able to line it up. They don't know he's there. They haven't spotted him. Effect eats the bullets. Kitsune now has the chance. He'll not miss it. And Kitsune keeps it together for Team Spirit. And it looked a little bit scary there. But Team Spirit do manage to rack up another massive game. They are non-stop today.
Yeah, I mean, Team Spirit just looked really good. And again, like I said, that game is a boot camp type of circle with Asian Mix not dropping on top of them. They had all the time in the world to work their magic. Very good game. They have come so close to chicken dinners over the last 2 matches that it's funny to think that this is their first chicken dinner of the day. But yeah, they are pumping their points so much right now that yeah, I think that they're more than likely heading through to POSL at this point. We've still got 3 more matches of this to go. And even if they have a horrible day tomorrow, I don't think it'll matter.
Hopefully not. 25 points. I think they've just gotten 25 points on the first 3 matches of our day, which puts them at 65 points on today, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, even across 6 matches, that's pretty good, right? But to be able to do that in the first 3, I'm excited for the rest of these games. If Matic's going to keep having fun, if they're going to keep messing people up, I am ready for it. But we have to have a break first so they can get locked and loaded for the next match. This time, I'm pretty sure it is going to be Eringo. We'll see you there.